Tonight, a love story that turns into a lost story. A lost mom of two young boys, that is.
Plus a key witness, Deborah, who asks the police to pray with her before she tells them what she knows. An all-new 2020 starts right now.
She was a wonderful mother. She loved her boys more than anything, more than her own life.
A young woman who is a parent suddenly disappeared.
Was there anything suspicious in the car?
And we saw in the back seat there were car seats, for the two boys.
But to disappear without them, that wasn't possible. That was not Laura.
She drops off the map. This wasn't going to be just a normal missing person.
Oh, baby, don't go. Oh, baby, don't leave me.
He knew how to charm a lady and charm the crowd alike.
Oh, I don't want to leave you lonely.
And then it wasn't too much longer later that Amanda came into the picture.
What did Grant tell your mom about Laura?
That she was crazy, she was mentally unstable.
He lied.
And here was a document that said she sold her kids for $25,000.
And they were like, well, Laura's missing. And I was like, wait a freaking second. Are you sure?
What are you thinking at this point?
Something is really wrong.
You've got to be sick and deranged.
What would drive anybody to commit such a crime?
Wherever she is, her heart is breaking.
The search continues.
There's been cases I investigated, I don't even remember. But then there's some that while you're in the midst of it, this one was just different.
Oyster Creek is notorious for alligators.
That's just a long, meandering creek.
It's a small creek, slow moving in that area.
Very dark, murky, muddy water.
Has zero visibility.
It's heavily wooded. There's a lot of lily pads.
All the lily pads literally took off the creek.
It was the perfect place to get rid of what they wanted to get rid of.
This is Oyster Creek, a quiet spot about 30 miles outside Houston, Texas. On a hot, steamy July day, just like this one, back in 2011, police divers were scouring these murky waters, searching for clues in the disappearance of a young mom. But Laura Ackerson was last heard from 1,200 miles away from here, in North Carolina.
Wednesday, July 13th at 4:19 p.m.
Hi, lady, it's Laura. I'll be here in about an hour, but I'm going to go visit with our boys. Don't know what's going to happen as far as I'm concerned.
Laura left that voicemail for a friend she promised to visit later that night. Meanwhile, another friend and business partner, Siobhan Mathis, was also waiting to hear from her.
It was just very odd that it was going straight to her voicemail because she always had that phone on. I walked to her house, but it's gated and locked and you can't get in, but I can see into the garage and her car wasn't there.
Then she sends her an email. I'm really worried. If you don't get up with me, I'm going to call the police.
Siobhan was getting more and more worried with every passing second. And she decided to report Laura missing.
I don't want to think the worst, but it's almost like what else is there to think?
Police in Raleigh, North Carolina start looking into Laura Ackerson's background. They find out she's a small-town girl from Michigan. Roger Ackerson was her dad.
She was curious. She wanted to learn things. She'd crawl up in my lap with a book, want me to read to her.
Laura's parents divorced when she was just a toddler. As she grew older, it was clear she had a bright spark.
Full of dreams. She could see beyond the end of her nose, where a lot of people can't.
Everybody she met, she would always see the good in everyone.
She didn't become the valedictorian of her high school class because she didn't want to do all the work. But a couple of years down the road, she said, boy, I wish I had.
After high school, she moved to North Carolina and landed a waitressing job. That's where she met Heidi Schumacher.
We were working at Applebee's together. Her first day, I was training her. I,
was a little snippety at her, and she said, "You're not going to talk to me like that." Nobody had ever stood up to me before, and I said, "Oh, you know what?" I smiled at her and I said, "Well, let's go out tonight. We're going to be great friends."
And then, when Laura turned 23, she had an announcement to make.
And she was like, "Oh my gosh, I have a surprise for you." And I said, "Okay, well, happy birthday," because it was on her birthday. And I was like, "Okay, what is the surprise?" She's like, "Okay, it's a guy." And I said, "Oh, all right, surprise, it's a guy."
So flipping tight, shoes on the floor, food in the pan, what makes a man? Oh,
Grant Hayes was a aspiring musical artist.
Show me one man, I'll show you a man.
He was known to Raleigh area.
Talk to her sweetly, tell her no lie.
Raleigh is a place we call the New South. It's a great mix of people coming from all over the country, raising their families. It's big enough that you have a city atmosphere, but it also has some small town values.
Downtown Raleigh is kind of burgeoning, and so there are all these, new bars and restaurants, and he was a musical act who would play at a lot of these places.
Are you still with me when I'm gone? Are you still with me when I don't come?
People liked his music. People liked his vibe.
Grant Hayes, we love you.
And she said, "We share a birthday. We're so connected." She thought it was some sort of cosmic intervention, that they were supposed to meet and they were supposed to be together.
We were always together, and the nighttime go outside, look up.
And she was smitten. She was. And he was, he's a nice looking guy. He's charismatic. And so seeing that, I think maybe a little bit of starstruck.
I grew up in the pew, little Grant III, watching my father preach, and my mother would sing. And they've always been a huge inspiration.
Grant was known by his last name, Hayes. He thought he could get some more buzz by changing Hayes to Haze, Hayes.
She was kind of in awe of what he did. See, he would go to bars and he'd take his guitar and he'd sing songs.
I'm working with some iconic figures in history, music history. Little Richard, godfather of rock and roll.
Laura and Grant fell in love very quickly.
She goes, my surprise is that I just got married. And I said, "Oh my gosh, awesome." She just was a spur of the moment kind of person, so it didn't really surprise me, I guess, that she would just meet somebody and get married to them. And she was like ecstatic at that moment.
Laura got pregnant very early on, and she had a little boy named Grant, the fourth, always referred to as Little Grant.
What she told me after she delivered the baby was that she was very happy because when Grant walked in and saw him, he fell in love with the baby.
Oh, baby, don't go. Oh, baby, don't leave me.
Heidi was not a fan of Grant Hayes, and she was very clear about that.
We've had hateful tension between us since the moment we met. And she said, "Why can't you just be happy for me?" I said, "I know, but I just got this really bad feeling from him." And, and she would say that I was just trying to protect her, and I was just being an overprotective friend, and, all that. And so I backed off.
Soon, an opportunity in the Caribbean takes Laura and Grant's lives in very different directions.
Party, stay out late, stay up all night. They were kind of living two separate lives.
There was something simmering underneath that in the relationship. There may have been trouble there in paradise.
St. John is a really quaint, quiet island. About 4,000 people.
It's a magical place. It's a fantastic place. It's got an affluent clientele that goes there because 80% of the island's national park can't even be developed.
Yeah, there is no airport. The only way to this island is by boat. You're going to take your flight to St. Thomas, and you're going to have to take a passenger ferry.
St. St. John's attracts musicians from all over. Kenny Chesney owns a home here, and a local island hangout helped inspire his song, When I See This Bar.
Yeah, that's what I see when I see this bar.
Grant had an audience. People liked his music here in Raleigh, but he thought he could take the next step in his career with music by going to the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Jose, who asked us only to use his first name, booked musicians into the bars and nightclubs on the island.
My phone rang, and it was Grant. He explained that he was looking to make sure that he could get enough gigs to support his basic costs of living. I promised him that I could get him 5 shows a week.
So he packed up and went down there.
He did speak of his son and Laura, and that she was going to eventually come down here once he got settled.
The Caribbean can be very seductive with the night air, the breezes, the music, the sand. When the sun goes down is when it really comes alive.
He knew how to work his crowd and play the right music for the people in the audience.
And I was listening to him play, and I really liked his sound. You know the artist Sade? He was like a male version of her. It just kind of a groovy, smooth vibe.
Show me a woman, I'll show you a man.
He definitely had some similarities to someone like Darius Rucker.
I want to love, and I want to give you more.
I owned a bar on the island of St. John. How I first encountered Grant Hayes, he was playing, I believe it was at the Parrot Club. He was taking a break. He says, man, I really dig your sound. I'll bring some people from my bar down. And he says, really? From your bar? Yeah. You know, but they won't be spending money with you if they're not at your bar. I don't care. We'll have a good time.
Are you still with me when I'm gone? Are you still with me?
He was just waiting for that one guy to come in that's on vacation that might be with a record company. To actually identify and recognize that this guy has talent and let's make him an offer.
Man down,
But for now, he had to make do with paychecks of $150 to $200 per gig.
It looked from the outside looking in that Laura and Grant had a great relationship. No one really knew the trouble brewing.
He was very possessive. It was like he owned her.
Grant didn't want her to have a relationship with her brother. He did not want any close relationships except for the one with him.
Well, she had pretty effectively been isolated from everyone else in her life. I mean, he would take her self-esteem and just crush it into the ground. I, got to the door and she answered and she had a bloody nose and a, almost black eye already. I tried to get the girl to the hospital or file a police report or anything. No, he won't do it again. It's okay. It's going to be okay. I'm not going to press charges. It's fine.
She's an optimist. She thought, well, he may change eventually. Always looking for the better side of him.
Grant denied ever hitting Laura. Now she's planning to join him on St. John. But then she says she receives a stark warning from family and friends.
I told her, don't go back. You don't need to go back to that.
She really realized, man, I have to leave him. And I said, okay. And then we had a plan for her to leave, and she had gotten sick 3 or 4 mornings in a row. And she was pregnant. I said, you can still leave. You can still go. And she said, no, I have to tell him it's the right thing to do.
It would have been easy. Just stay here. But instead she went back.
She was going to do whatever it took to make that family work. She went down to St. John to start over, and she had told me that he said, oh, when you come down here, it's going to be great.
Now reunited on the island of St. John, Laura gives birth to their second son in August of 2009. They name him Gentle.
And then you have Gentle, because now in my maturity, I'm understanding what real masculinity is, and it's gentle.
She was a wonderful mother. She loved her boys more than anything, more than her own life.
She was a good mother, and she laid low and was a housewife. She wasn't into the party. They were kind of living two separate lives, and that's one of the reasons why he would hang out at my house, just so that he could do what he wanted and be himself, because he couldn't do that at home. Party, stay out late, stay up all night.
I never saw him like walk over and kiss her on the cheek or any of that. There wasn't that kind of in-person tenderness between them that I ever saw.
The little baby, Gentle, needed some medical attention and thought that here in North Carolina would be a better place to get him the medical care he needed.
So she made plans to move back to take care of her boy.
Laura had left the island and he was kind of on his own. That wasn't really good for him because then he could just really do whatever he wanted. He knew how to charm a lady and charm the crowd alike. So it wasn't hard for him to have a group of ladies to chat with after he stopped playing. And he had no problem getting them to blush and getting a phone number.
And sure enough, another woman soon makes waves in Grant's island life.
Amanda, to me, was a striking woman.
And Laura became concerned and suspicious and had a huge surprise coming her way. It appeared that things were going well in St. John. Grant was trying to get his music career going there.
Midnight train, don't give a ride to the north.
And Laura, she's living here in North Carolina with the two little boys, trying to get their youngest son needed medical treatment.
And then it wasn't too much longer later that Amanda came into the picture. Amanda, to me, was a striking woman.
Amanda's daughter, Shay, shared a lot of details with us, but she asked that we not use her last name. And what was your relationship like growing up?
My mom was my best friend. My mom was my hero. Like, what do you want to be whenever you grow up? I want to be like my mom.
Amanda had been married 3 times previously, and the most recent husband before Grant was a wealthy businessman in Texas. And he actually died in an accident. After his death, there's a lot of money that Amanda inherits.
Her big claim to fame was in acting. She was in the actual Stepford Wives, the remake that was done with Nicole Kidman, and she had a very small part.
So how did she end up in St. John?
She went down there on vacation. She was supposed to be gone for 2 weeks.
She loved it so much. She moved down to the Virgin Islands. That was where she wanted to live.
You lived there with her?
I did.
How old were you at that point?
I was 20.
And so how did she meet Grant Hayes?
He was playing music.
So it brought some people down there to listen to Grant play, and Amanda come in. She was looking at him like she hadn't eaten in a while, and he was a steak.
Who pursued whom?
The tango is two-sided.
And did you see their infatuation, romance unfold?
It wasn't instant. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, fireworks, oh.
I definitely started seeing him hanging with Amanda, and it was obvious that they were a couple.
I called him out for it. I said, man, you can't be doing this with her up in the States, you know, Lori up in the States. He goes, oh, no, we're getting divorced, and it's over. She's staying up there. She's never coming back to the island.
What was Grant's relationship like with Amanda?
Yeah, I think with Amanda, because she was a little bit older, more mature, I don't think that she was sort of pushed around and controlled.
Got very territorial. Let's say there's a group of females in there, and one was, Grant and her were having too much eye contact and smiles, whatever. Then Amanda, being over here, would have the server bring her a drink, so that's from Grant's girlfriend. It kind of set her territory.
And Laura, from a distance here in North Carolina, became concerned and suspicious there was something else happening there. Eventually, this relationship between Amanda and Grant takes the next step. It develops into something more. And they make the move from the Virgin Islands to New York.
She convinced him that she can introduce him to the people that can make his career take off.
Was he successful?
I mean, he got repeat bookings at some of the different places. You know, he played the Grant Hayes variety show.
Gotta get a warm welcome for Mr. Grant Hayes! I don't know. I ain't trying to.
And then Grant says, to Laura, I would really like little Grant, their oldest son, to come visit me in New York.
Grant assured her, this is just for 10 days. 10 days came and went, and he hasn't brought Grant back. And Laura was asking why. You said you would.
And Laura had to file for custody to even see her son again. She didn't have a choice.
Fighting to get her oldest boy back. In April of 2010, Laura hears surprising news.
Grant calls her and says, Amanda and I just went to Vegas and we got married. It's a bombshell. It's a shock to Laura.
It was a little surprising that they were getting married. They were definitely moving very fast.
I married my soulmate, my best friend, and she is something that I wanted my whole life.
Friends and family had been given the impression that Laura and Grant were married, but apparently they never were.
Then Grant took a very aggressive move and went to court without her.
He made these allegations about she's mentally unstable, she doesn't have a stable home, she's working as an escort.
They had alleged that Laura was a danger to the children.
He lied. He said several things in the ex parte custody order that just plain weren't true.
And based on those allegations, Mr. Hayes got Judge Turner to sign an emergency custody order.
He granted a temporary custody to Grant, not just little Grant, but also Gentle. And little Gentle was carted off from there and given over to his father.
The worst time in her life was when she did not get to see her kids. She was devastated.
She went to work to do whatever it would take to get the two boys back.
As for Grant and Amanda, they moved down to Raleigh as the custody battle heats up.
We had the court appoint Dr. Ginger Calloway.
Where do you practice?
In Raleigh.
To evaluate both parties.
To be able to give the court an opinion over whose home may be the best home for these children to be in.
During that evaluation, Laura went on the record to say that Grant had isolated and controlled her, while Grant charged that she was the one manipulating him.
When the psychologist report came in, the parts about Mr. Hayes referred to him having some, what the psychologist called, illogical and disturbed thinking.
He rages angrily about Laura in front of the children. It is obvious they do not want Laura included in the children's lives. This is very concerning because in essence, they want to obliterate her.
And she came basically to the conclusion that, yeah, Laura had work to do.
She is less mature than other adults and is easily overwhelmed.
The psychologist did recommend a 50-50 split in custody. And that would have been a substantial improvement for where we were.
In the meantime, Amanda had gotten pregnant.
Lily in Love.
Lily in Love?
Yes.
And gave birth to a little baby girl.
All right.
They were thrilled to welcome baby Lily into the world, joining Grant's two sons. But that was overshadowed by Grant's struggles to break through in the music business.
Between the legal proceedings and I think Grant's spending, they're out of money.
It was a mess.
Yes.
He was the reason that my mom was not okay. Sitting in a bathroom floor crying, going, I have no idea how the hell I'm gonna do this. I mean, what do? You've gone through over $200,000 in 18 months.
That's how much money they went through?
Easily.
How dire was the financial situation?
Oh, they were getting evicted from their apartment.
Grant called his mom, Patsy, and said, hey, we need to move in with you.
Hey, Mom, it's Grant. Me and Amanda and Lily are going to move in with you guys. I don't have the money for a storage building right now. If you could front that to me, okay? All right, bye-bye.
It's now July of 2011, and while Grant and Amanda sink, Laura's fortunes were finally rising.
Her main priority in life was to get her kids back. She went back to school. She, got her own place, got her own job, got her own car.
She was very enthusiastic about the career and getting her boys back.
Laura even started a new company with her friend Siobhan, selling ad space on restaurant menus. She successfully pitched local restaurant owners and socialized with new friends.
I am going to Raleigh. I don't know if I'll be able to see it before 7, but I want to find out if you're going to be available after that at any point. So that's later.
Laura sounds upbeat, but she has no idea that she's now driving straight into terrible danger. It's July 2011. Laura Ackerson hasn't been heard from in days, and her friends are worried about the 27-year-old mother of 2. They report her missing.
ABC 11 Eyewitness News at 5:30 starts right now.
So far, there's been no other signs of the missing woman.
I'm not the only person that's worried about her.
She's been missing for quite a while, but there's still hope.
Ackerson apparently came to Raleigh last week on business.
We got a description of Laura's vehicle, and we put a bolo out, be on the lookout for patrol officers just to see if they are able to locate the vehicle.
That night, by 11 o'clock that night, our patrol guys had found the car.
So where was it?
Right over here, if you see this black color SUV, it's right there in that same parking space is where it was.
Was there anything suspicious in the car?
Nothing really of evidentiary value. I mean, we saw in the back seat there were car seats, for the 2 boys. There was an idea that maybe she decided, hey, I'm gonna go to the airport, I'm gonna take a trip somewhere.
If she had disappeared with her boys, that would not have been an overwhelming surprise. But to disappear without them, that was impossible. That was not Laura.
So we definitely explored that possibility. We checked Laura's financials, we checked her cell phone records, all that. All her activity ended on July 13th.
She's not buying gas, she's not buying food, she's doing nothing. She just completely goes silent.
Something that we would normally do in a missing person case is we want to go to their apartment or their house. Maybe they left a note.
The police go into Laura's apartment and thoroughly search it, looking for anything that could point to a problem or that any violence occurred.
It was very well kept, it was clean. She had several plants that were inside the apartment. None of them had been watered for numerous days.
That was a good indication that she had not returned or that nobody was coming in and out of the apartment to take care of things. From looking at the apartment, you could tell she's definitely a dedicated mother. That's what stood out, number 1.
Almost half the apartment was dedicated to space for the kids, and that kind of reflected her life, that so much of her life was focused on her children.
They pulled the video from the public spaces of Laura's apartment building.
The video captured the hallway outside of her door on the morning of the 13th. Just a lady that was on her way to work in the morning by herself, completely normal morning.
She was not under duress, did not seem to be in a hurry, did not have suitcases that she's dragging behind her.
We learned that Gentle had a birthday party the following weekend that was scheduled, and that Laura had no-showed on it. That's all when we started thinking this wasn't going to be just a normal missing person.
We still want to look, hey, are there other people in Laura's life that may have something to do with her disappearance?
Laura admitted that she'd gone to some sugar daddy sites.
You're trying to meet maybe wealthier men. We were never able to show that there was any meeting of any kind between Laura and somebody else.
One detective reaches out to Laura's ex, Grant Hayes, who says that Laura had visited him on the night of Wednesday, July 13th.
He gives timeline of when she was there at the apartment. Well, she actually came up here to visit the boys and says that she left, after being there for a little while.
Grant Hayes also tells investigators that 2 days after visiting his apartment, Laura was supposed to meet him at the local Sheetz gas station for their scheduled custody exchange.
He shows up to the scheduled Friday 5 o'clock time. He has the boys with him.
They would come in the store to use the restroom. Grant goes in to buy a pack of cigarettes. But essentially, they're waiting in the parking lot.
And waits for over an hour for Laura to arrive. And she never arrives.
He was sending out very angry email messages and text messages to Laura. You're late again. Where are you?
And first at 5:30 tonight, we have new details and new updates on the big stories happening now.
I'm Steve Daniels. I anchor the evening news covering Raleigh. This was a really compelling case. Our viewers were watching this every step of the way.
She was to meet them and their father in Wilson that afternoon, according to the children's grandmother.
She didn't show up at 5, and so he was there until 5, and he called me at 6:30 and said she had not shown up yet.
It's distressing, and I just hope it all comes to an end quickly and that she's all right.
It's not like her to do something like this, especially to not pick up her kids.
Detectives realize that no one has heard from Laura since that voicemail she left on July 13th for her friend, Oksana Smarsky.
I was in a study group and I saw my phone ring and I wish I would pick it up. And if I knew what would happen, I would not let it ring.
I'll give you a call when I'm done, and I just wanted to let you know too, I don't know if I'll be able to see you before 7, but that's later.
Laura's destination that night had been Grant and Amanda's apartment.
Tell me, where is the apartment?
And so their apartment is right on the other side of this small building here.
So how did you get a search warrant to go in?
So we had developed enough information, I just think, to get that search warrant initially. We were really trying to develop a timeline for Laura. Any evidence that maybe Laura had been there.
So one of the things that we did find in the apartment was a note. It appeared to be handwritten.
Up on the counter in the kitchen area, just kind of laying there very conspicuously, which was weird.
And what that note said was that Laura Ackerson, in exchange for receiving $25,000, would give up custody of her children.
It was signed Laura Ackerson.
That was suspicious, because everybody had been telling the police Laura would not leave her boys.
Those boys were Laura's life. She would have never signed over her children for any amount of money.
Why a note? You already are going through the court system. Why don't you just go through your attorneys?
And that is not the only curious discovery in that apartment.
As soon as they opened the door, hit with the overwhelming smell of bleach.
It's been a week since Laura Ackerson's disappearance, and investigators are now searching the apartment of her ex, Grant Hayes.
Police were here yesterday asking a lot of questions.
It's a 3-bedroom apartment. There's a small kitchen area.
I remember there being a couch, maybe a table, but there's not a lot of furniture.
Was there anything unusual about that moment when you walked in the door?
It smelled like bleach. You know, it's just that strong odor of bleach that hits you.
And so, what did that tell you?
At least that someone had been cleaning is what it appeared, but then we see this large, bleach stain.
At that point, alarm bells are going off.
Right.
And that's not like a little old stain.
No, a significant bleach stain right at the entryway in the apartment.
It was clear something happened right here at this door that required them to bleach this carpet.
And then there were a couple other things that we find that kind of throw up red flags as well.
The bathroom, which before July 13th had been the place where the little boys went to brush their teeth, take their baths, play in the bathtub. Suddenly, there was nothing in that room.
It's the cleanest bathroom I've ever been in.
There's no floor mats, there's no shower curtain.
And shiny clean on every possible surface.
And what does that point to?
that something has taken place inside this bathroom that required cleaning. And I think it really stuck out too because the rest of the home, it wasn't super dirty, but it was not clean to the level that that bathroom was clean.
Clearly, something happened in that bathroom.
We did everything that you could do to a bathroom. We tore it apart. We ripped up the floor. We took out the plumbing and did everything that you could do forensically at that time. We even went to the apartment below, came up through the ceiling to get the plumbing, and nothing. There was nothing. There was no blood. Laura's body was not there. Nothing broken to indicate a struggle. So we still are kind of on the fence of what do we have here?
So investigators now have a lot more questions for Grant and Amanda. But first, they have to find them.
Detective Falk had learned that Amanda had a daughter. Her name was Shay, and Detective Falk conducted an interview with her.
The police show up at your door. What was that like?
Terrifying. I've never had a speeding ticket before. I've never been in trouble before.
And so what did you tell them?
Well, they wanted to know where my mom was. And I was like, what do you mean, where is my mom? And I was like, what is this about? And they were like, well, Laura's missing. And I was like, wait a freaking second. You guys need to find my mom. And I need you to find out where the babies are because they are probably not okay.
Where Shay tells us, my mom and Grant, they took off and they went down to Texas.
Grant and Amanda were loading the kids up and making a trip to Texas to visit Amanda's sister, Karen Berry.
She was going to go visit my aunt because my grandmother had just died and she hadn't seen her sister in years. And I told my mom, I was like, I want to go with you. And she told me no.
Amanda's daughter, Shay, tells police Grant rented a U-Haul trailer at this location on July 16th. That's 3 days after Laura went missing. Now what investigators want to know is why.
So after finding that, I requested surveillance video from U-Haul here in Raleigh.
Why'd they rent a U-Haul trailer? Well, according to Shay, there's this kind of antique hutch that she was going to give to my aunt.
At this point, Grant and Amanda were downsizing their belongings as they were getting ready to move.
I guess that Grant was like, take it to your sister's, it'll be safe there.
Did that sound odd to you?
I mean, we've had this piece of furniture for like 20 years. Why are you worried about where it's going to be now? But whatever.
Grant makes a comment when he goes to get the U-Haul trailer that he's going on a fishing trip with his son.
The police wanted to know where Grant was, and so they checked his cell phone pings and found out that he was in Texas.
One of the first pings that we get on Amanda's cell phone is her sister Karen Berry's house.
The court ordered that they were not allowed to take Grant and Gentle out of the state of North Carolina until the whole custody situation is resolved.
It was definitely significant to us that he was willing to take the risk and go to Texas with these boys, knowing that if that was found out, that would be a problem for him.
Pretty immediately, we make a decision, hey, we've got to go to Texas.
This is literally a 20-hour drive on a hunch that we could find evidence out there. So Skinner Lane is in the middle of nowhere. 2 deputies, myself, drove to Karen Berry's house cold. She didn't know we were coming. We told her that basically we wanted to talk to her about Grant and Amanda. She told us that she was expecting us.
She was very, very nervous.
She cried a lot, and she said, before I answer any more questions, do you mind if I pray?
And it means there's something big that you're about to tell us.
And as a homicide detective, anytime somebody wants to pray, you let them pray. My first reaction was, whew, this just got real.
It was the lead story on the news night after night after night.
Grant shows up to the Friday handoff
and waits for over an hour for Laura to arrive, and she never arrives.
I can't imagine being under that Texas sun trying to find the woman's body. It was just a grotesque thing to have to do.
And you would have to dive through murky water like this?
It's not a swimming hole. It's not a place where people go paddling in. This is just sort of a wasteland.
You found a manual for the power saw. What went through your mind?
No one does construction work in this house.
I'm just buying a saw at 2 o'clock in the morning.
How the hell did we get here?
As soon as prosecutors hear this song, they're like, wow.
It was a song.
Not real life.
Until it is real life.
When Laura first went missing, this case sort of blew up. A young woman who's a parent who suddenly had disappeared, and she really disappeared off the face of the earth.
At this point in the investigation, we really don't know what exactly has happened to Laura.
Grant and Amanda had gone down to Texas to visit Amanda's sister. They rented a U-Haul trailer.
We knew that Grant and Amanda had come back to Raleigh.
Where is Laura Ackerson? That's what everyone's been wondering since she went missing days ago. Raleigh police finally have what could be a breakthrough lead, so they drive 1,200 miles to pay an unexpected visit to Amanda's sister, here in Richmond, Texas.
Karen Berry was Amanda's sister, but in a lot of ways, she was more of a mother figure. She was who Amanda always turned to when she had any problems.
Well, it was a Sunday afternoon, and I received a call out advising that the Raleigh Police Department had traveled from North Carolina, and they were requesting some investigative assistance from the sheriff's office.
When they knock on the door of Karen Berry and she answers, it's almost like she was counting the minutes for them to get there. And her first reaction to them is, you can come in and I'll talk to you, but can I just have a moment to pray first?
There's some soul searching going on.
Yes.
And do you remember the words that she prayed?
Basically just a prayer of, give me the strength to do the right thing, to help me do what I need to do.
After she finished praying, she tells us that Grant and Amanda had shown up on Monday the 18th. She's excited to see her sister. Lily had just been born, and Karen had never seen her. She had never met Grant.
Karen didn't get a very good impression of Grant because he was hyper nervous.
Grant slept most of the day. Karen pointed that out.
And she could tell something was wrong with her sister.
Amanda seemed troubled, but also concerning were several inquiries that Amanda and Grant had made of her and her boys.
What were the peculiar questions?
Well, one was about the creek. Just across the street is Oyster Creek.
Karen's boys,
they had a flat-bottom boat.
Grant and Amanda,
they were asking permission to use the boat to go out there to explore for sharks. Well, we're 90 miles inland, and this is a freshwater creek. I'm pretty confident there's never been a sighting of a shark in Fort Bend County.
Grant asked, are there alligators where I can access Oyster Creek?
And then they talk about they want to go fishing. They'll take the boat out fishing.
And Karen said, no, that is not a place that you need little toddlers fishing.
Karen told the police that they took the boat out one night. She didn't know why. The boys were sound asleep, so it didn't make any sense to her.
We conveyed to her repeatedly that we are not looking at her as a suspect. And then we directed the conversation toward Laura. Did Grant and Amanda tell you anything? She clearly conveyed to me that Laura and Amanda did not get along. And then she told us Amanda had come into the kitchen and said, I need to talk with you outside. It's important. Amanda said Laura's not a good person. Amanda then tells Karen, I hurt her, I hurt Laura, I pushed her, and it's bad. We asked her, do you think that Laura's dead? And Karen said, I think that there's a good chance. And at that point, she gave us consent to search the property.
The scene was immediately cordoned off. There were several areas on the property itself that we needed to search. in addition to searching the creek across the street.
This creek is off of Skinner Lane, off in Corbin County. We're about 100 yards west of the 4300 block.
It looks different now, right?
Yeah, things have changed a lot in the last 13 years.
There were big piles of trash all in the backyard. There was a hog pen to the right of the house.
You uncovered a lot of evidence here.
We did. We uncovered a lot of evidence.
Karen was asked what items were left behind. Are these yours, or are these something that you know nothing about? We found some empty carry-on suitcases, presumably left by Grant or Amanda. We found some ice chests.
Karen was not aware that they came down there with 3 coolers until she saw Grant cleaning them out in the backyard.
If these were ice chests that were needed for their long journey to Texas from Raleigh, why weren't they needed during the long journey back?
Fort Bend police call in crime scene investigator Officer Kim Oreskovich. They want her to search that muddy creek across the street from Karen Berry's house.
When I got here is when Lieutenant told me that, hey, you're looking for a body.
And so what was going through your mind?
I was like, no, we're not going to find it. If there was dumped here in the creek, normally the current would take it out.
The creek was probably 25 feet wide, very swampy looking.
It's not a swimming hole. It's not a place where people go paddling in. This is just sort of a wasteland. There are alligators. They had someone in the boat ready to shoot an alligator.
We're down, obviously, on our knees in the boat, so he's literally above us, watching for gators in front of us, see if there's any signs of a gator coming out.
With a long gun in his hand.
Absolutely.
I can't imagine being under that Texas sun trying to find a woman's body. It was just a grotesque thing to have to do.
What did you see?
We're like, okay, there's something big floating on top of the water and the water lilies.
My first reaction was, whew, this just got real.
From the water to the riverbed, the search for Laura Ackerson continues. Laura's body believed to be dumped here in Texas.
It was a hot July day when you went out on the boat.
Yes.
What did you see?
We found something big floating on top of the water and the water lilies. And it was just white and pinkish. When we got up close to it, you could see that it's one half of a torso. When they said, oh, you're looking for a body, I wasn't expecting dismembered body, so that was a shock to your system.
Kim pretty quickly locates what ultimately was determined to be 2 portions of a torso kind of tangled up in the vegetation of the creek.
And that kind of confirmed to everybody here, now this is a homicide.
Once those dismembered body parts were found floating near the surface of Oyster Creek, Houston dive teams were called in. They had to search now beneath the surface of these murky, alligator-filled waters, looking for more remains. They need to know, is it really Laura?
It's becoming important to find things like the hands or the feet or the head that can help with identifying the body.
Mark Thorson and Brian Davis of the Houston Police Dive Team still remember being on scene that awful day. What kind of dives did you normally do on this unit?
And we pretty much go get anything out of the water. Vehicles, guns, bodies.
And what's visibility like underwater?
Most of our dives on the dive team, we do not have visibility.
You're basically just fanning your hand out or your arm out in front of you. You want to feel it before you run over it. The first 2 hours, we searched underwater. We didn't come up with anything, so we had to change our tactic, and that's when we decided to go on our tiptoes and go through the lily pads.
And you would have to dive through murky water like this?
Yes.
This is what we were facing. When you're in the middle of it, it just closes in on you, and it's difficult searching, or it's hard searching for what we're looking for.
We started seeing sheen and smelling. If you've ever smelled a decomposing body, you know that odor, and you're not going to forget it. We're moving the lilies, and the scent would get stronger or it would get weaker. As we're moving the lilies, you can see a white, grayish object in the water, and immediately knew that I had a body part. All I saw was what looked like skin, and I could see a bone. I called out to Mark. Mark swam over, and he placed his hands on top of mine and rolled it, and that was when we learned that we had the head.
We recovered virtually all of her body, but the most important piece was being able to recover her head, because we were able to do dental record comparisons where that's as good as a fingerprint.
They were able to confirm that it was Laura Ackerson, and that mother of 2 boys was now dead.
And they knew they'd found Laura in the Texas creek. Sorry.
What was your reaction when you heard about body parts being found in a creek near your aunt's house, and somehow your mom's mixed up in it?
It was the most devastating thing to have ever happened in my life.
In my interviews with Karen, I was aware that Grant and Amanda were inquiring about where a Home Depot was at. They had some shopping that they wanted to do.
Investigators visit a local Home Depot and uncover this video of Grant purchasing suspicious items, including muriatic acid.
We had video evidence of the purchase of the muriatic acid, garbage can, and also some large cuff neoprene chemical-resistant gloves.
A Home Depot employee told law enforcement that Grant had asked if the acid would eliminate the odor from a hog pen.
We searched the hog pen, and we noticed a larger darkened spot, circular spot, right in the middle of the hog pen. In getting close to the soil, you could smell the chemical smell of presumably muriatic acid.
So what do you think happened there?
They attempted to dispose of Laura in that hog pen.
Destroy her physical remains.
Or at least means of identifying her.
Despite having found Laura's body parts, the police still don't know how she was killed. But they do have enough evidence for arrest warrants for Grant and Amanda.
We head down to Kinston to arrest Grant and Amanda at her parents' house. And we take them into custody.
Grant left a note on the dresser of his parents' house, and it said that he grants sole custody of Grant, Gentle, and Lily to his parents. He had to know that he was in a dangerous position.
Both Grant Hayes and his wife Amanda are now in jail.
Hayes and his wife Amanda are both charged with murder in the death of Laura Ackerson. Both pleaded not guilty.
I even sent him a message. I said, Grant, what the hell, dude? What are you doing? Why? You know? I don't know if he ever read he was incarcerated at that point.
What was your reaction to her arrest and being charged with murder?
Shocked. How the hell did we get here?
I can't imagine a daughter watching her mother be arrested and charged with murder and have to contend with that.
It's soul-shattering. It makes you question your morals and values. It makes you question who you are.
Soon, authorities find even more evidence they say will bolster their case.
When you see the surveillance video, what went through your mind?
It's scary. It's barbaric. It's inhumane.
Soon after their arrest, Grant and Amanda are led into the courtroom.
Are you Grant Ruffin Hayes?
Yes. Jason Ackerson watched from the front row as the father of his sister's children faced a judge. Grant Hayes III is now charged with killing his children's mother. They have also charged his wife, Amanda Hayes, with murder. Today, both Hayes and his wife went back to jail with no bond.
These guys are monsters.
My mom's not a monster. She got pulled into a bad situation.
that woman in that picture is not the mama that I grew up with.
Shay, she didn't think her mother could be responsible for anything violent.
At some point, she had found this owner's manual for a skill saw.
You found a manual for the power saw.
For some type of power saw.
What went through your mind?
No one does construction work in this house, and I don't see anything freshly built.
She made a decision to kind of help us.
I figured if they had the manual, they could figure out where he bought it. And they did.
It was Walmart that tells us, yeah, we actually sold one on the early morning hours of July 14th.
They found Grant Hayes at 2:30 in the morning after Laura Ackerson was last seen on the 13th at Walmart buying supplies, plastic, gloves, PPE, plus a reciprocating saw.
A reciprocating saw, depending on the blade you use, can rip through almost anything.
The video shows him kind of pacing back and forth and looking at the different saws. You know, you wonder, like, what's going through his mind as he's doing this.
He went in, he didn't disguise himself. He didn't try to cover up his looks, didn't try to dodge cameras.
He's very cool and calm and collected, knowing that he's got a dead body at home. I'm just buying a saw at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I am a retired reporter with the ABC station in Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina. I'm at Crump right now in Raleigh. I was the crime reporter. Early in pretrial motions, we started learning that the defense strategy for Amanda appeared to be to blame Grant. And for Grant, it appeared to be to blame Amanda.
They both throw each other under the bus.
They absolutely do. They both blame each other.
It's like a murderous he said, she said.
For sure. And it makes sense, right? If you're looking at it from a defense standpoint, for either one of them, you need to blame it on somebody else.
Once it became clear from defense motions that one defendant was going to blame the other, the judge said if we do them separately, they both get a fair trial.
Finally, 2 years after the murder of Laura Ackerson, Grant's trial begins.
I was an assistant district attorney. I prosecuted Grant and Amanda Hayes.
On July 13th of 2011, Laura Ackerson woke up excited. Little did she know that within 24 hours, that man, the father of her children, would be the one responsible for her murder and disappearance.
I represented Grant Hayes. Another attorney, Will Durham, joined me. Our defense was Grant didn't do this. There's no evidence he did this, and all the evidence suggests that Amanda is the perpetrator of the homicide.
His attorneys made this point, and they were right. Just because Grant did a gruesome deed by disposing of a body and dismembering it doesn't mean he's a murderer.
His mindset was very much, he didn't do this, they couldn't prove it, and he would be fine.
In the 2 years since the murder, Grant Hayes has appeared in court several times. Some court observers say he often looks smug. Maybe that's because he thinks he can pin the murder of Laura Ackerson on his wife.
What was Grant's demeanor like during the trial?
Disgusting. He was so nonchalant. He had no problem. He was going to beat this.
District Attorney may call your witness.
The way the prosecution decides to begin their case is to paint a portrait of Laura Ackerson. To do that, they bring in the people who know her best.
Laura loved her children more than anything, and it showed in every action that she took. I told Laura that if she wanted to fight for her kids, I would be there to support her. And she said, I'm going to fight every step of the way.
Would you state your name, please?
Siobhan Nicole Mathis. Her main priority was to get her children back before anything else. Even when she was working, she would drop whatever she had to do for her kids.
As we watched this case unfold, it was so striking to see the extraordinary lengths Grant and Amanda went to try to cover up their crime. But they left a very clear trail behind them.
Describe the range of evidence you had to deal with.
The defendant went out and tried to find the best saw blade and the best plastic sheeting and acid. We're able to use these saw blades and had a scientist from NC State compare the saw marks in Laura's body.
You can see how the blades actually match up.
These coolers really were evidence of the deliberation and thoughtfulness that the defendant had after the murder.
Could you unfold that and display that for the jury?
Has some sort of bleach discoloration.
Electrical tape that was purchased.
Despite this mound of evidence, we don't actually know how she was murdered.
Sure, there's 3 adults in the apartment when this happened, and 2 of them are charged with first-degree murder, and 1 person's dead. It was kind of hard to prove exactly what had transpired.
I didn't have enough information with the parts that we received to determine the exact cause of death.
What was your opinion as to the cause of death?
I called it undetermined homicidal violence.
The defense lawyers are telling that jury, look, there's no murder weapon. There's no exact cause of death. You can't find this guy guilty.
The issue is who killed Laura and what happened and why. And the state really didn't have any direct evidence.
This made the defense feel like there was a chink in the armor and that they had a way to get in.
But soon, prosecutors would try to use Grant's own words against him.
I got 2 kids by you. I can't take any more from you.
As soon as prosecutors hear this song, they're like, wow.
Despite the mountain of evidence in this case, it's still unclear who killed Laura and how. The prosecution is about to call a witness who claims to know what happened.
Here is jailhouse informant Pablo Trinidad, who can tell us what Grant said happened inside that apartment.
Pablo Trinidad met Grant at the Wake County Jail, where they were both behind bars. Pablo was being held for drug-related offenses.
He's the typical snitch witness. He was doing maybe 25 years. He was looking a way to try to get a sentence reduction.
Were y'all housed in the same area of the jail?
Yes, ma'am. We had several conversations throughout the period that we was housed together.
Pablo Trinidad got in front of that courtroom on the witness stand, and he said, Grant told me in our jail cell, he and Amanda strangled Laura.
He said he placed a call to her and lured her to his apartment. And that's when him and his wife subdued her and strangled her.
With the corroborating evidence, there was this glimmer of truth in there.
Whether you want to believe what he's saying, you got to take it with a grain of salt. You can't prove it other than, this is just my word.
Your testimony is that during that 5 days, y'all developed such a special bond that he told you all his deepest, dark secrets.
That's correct.
Defense lawyers chipped away at Pablo. They knew that Pablo had snitched on other cellmates before.
And so you started thinking back, what are all the names I can give these people, didn't you?
Yes.
And you remembered Grant Hayes. He was your meal ticket, wasn't he? One of them, at least.
If you want to put in those words, that's your words, not mine.
Thank you, sir. You missed on that.
I hate to say that a jailhouse snitch was a pivotal witness in this case, but he was.
The prosecution has one last piece of evidence, and fitting for Grant, it starts with a beat.
Shay actually brought to our attention. She knew about this song that Grant had previously recorded. It was called Broomstick Rider.
Broomstick Rider, just happened to be my baby's mama. Don't tell me.
The lyrics of it told what his desire to do to Laura was.
I put a price tag on your head. That's right. You must have told your attorney I got intentions on killing you. What? This order might stop me. My bullets will get you.
He wrote this song with Laura in mind. His attorney called it a parody.
The state at this time would seek to publish a song that was recovered off of the defendant's iPod.
The defense objected to the song, saying it wasn't relevant, but the judge overruled and allowed it in.
Broomstick Rider, just happened to be my baby's mama.
We both kind of peer over and see the defendant bobbing his head and sort of rocking out to the song about killing the person that he was on trial for killing, which was sort of a staggering event.
It was a song. It was a song.
Not real life.
Until it is real life. And it messes up your entire existence. It messes up who you think you are at your core. Can we take a second?
the defense calls a witness with crucial first-hand testimony that seems to support Grant's version of the story. It's Amanda's sister, Karen Berry. Remember, Amanda told her sister that she hurt Laura.
Could you please state your name for the court?
Karen Berry.
Could you tell me how you know Amanda Hayes?
She's my sister.
The defense is trying to prove Grant didn't commit this crime, that it was Amanda who committed this crime.
Our case focused on statements that Amanda made to her sister.
She came in and she told me that she had hurt Laura and that she had hurt her bad.
She says, I hurt Laura, not we hurt Laura, or he hurt Laura.
It actually benefited Grant to some degree because for Grant, his defense is Amanda did this.
Well, that was definitely a defense bombshell. But when she was pressed further, she detailed another story that happened.
I said, I want the truth out of you now. And I looked her straight in the eye and I asked her if she was covering for Grant.
How did she answer?
She looked me straight in the eye. She shook her head and went.
Well, that kind of undid everything else.
The defendant's whole case sort of backfired on them. I mean, Karen's testimony did not come out like they wanted to come out.
In their closing arguments, each side has one last chance to convince the jury.
They're trying to give you some reason to convict him without giving you the evidence. You will not let emotion decide this case. You will not let your disgust for the things that happened in this case lead you to a verdict.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I really wanted to communicate to the jury that the way that this murder happened was different. It was more personal.
Here's the saw.
And so that's why I pulled out that saw.
This saw cut someone in half.
These are the lengths that the defendant went to try to not just get away with this murder, but also erase Laura from the world.
He is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, and you should find him so. Thank you.
After 3 weeks of graphic testimony with 50 witnesses and 500 pieces of evidence, the jury goes out to deliberate. Within 2 hours, they're back with a verdict.
We, the jury, by unanimous verdict, find the defendant, Grant Ruffin Hayes III, to be guilty of murder in the first degree.
Grant Hayes was sentenced to life in prison without chance of parole.
I was happy to see that he got that, and I was happy to see that the jury felt the same way.
Glad he's not going to be part of society. It is consolation for that factor, but still doesn't bring her back.
Only a couple of months later, it's time for Amanda to face justice.
Amanda took the witness stand in her own defense.
I was just doing whatever he told me to do.
Grant did not testify, but now he's talking to me.
This is a Global Tellink prepaid call from Grant Hayes. Hello?
Hey, Grant?
Yes.
It's Juju Chang at ABC News.
This is a Global Tellink prepaid call from Grant Hayes.
After Grant's trial and conviction, many questions remain unanswered, like what happened in that apartment. So we arranged to speak with him from prison. But his claims about how Laura died doesn't really add up.
Grant, can you hear me? It's Juju Chang at ABC News. Thanks so much for calling.
Thank you for picking up.
So let me ask you this. People have described you as very charming, but also manipulative and even scary.
I don't really have any defense for what people think about my character. But, you know, I'm not in prison for being a bad person. I'm in prison for killing a woman. And that didn't happen.
So you're saying you didn't kill Laura?
No, I didn't kill Laura.
So what happened that night in the apartment? How did she die?
From what I was told, when I left the room, she had asked to hold our 5-week-old baby, and Amanda had refused her. And Amanda told me that Laura had actually grabbed her by the hair and pulled her back, and that she had swung back with her elbow, hit her, dislodged herself from her, and ran into my recording studio. And when I came back in the room, Laura was laid out.
I just want to get this straight, Grant. You're blaming Laura for her own death?
Laura attacked a woman. I don't know any other way to look at it.
And so at that point, why not call 911 to try to resuscitate her?
I was freaked out. Honestly, I was afraid. I was very, very afraid.
And then you're captured on video buying a saw. Who came up with that plan?
Well, Amanda had a plan to take Laura's body to a swamp at her sister's in Texas. And we had to get it out of the house, and the only way we could do that was if it were dismembered. So I guess you could say it was carrying out a plan that was Amanda's.
It's only been a few months since Grant's conviction, and now Amanda Hayes' trial is set to begin.
In Amanda's trial, we're still putting forward the same evidence as Grant's trial, but at the same time, we want to accent Amanda's role in everything.
The defense was trying to show Amanda she was coerced by Grant and only did what Grant said in order to protect herself and her child.
But Amanda isn't just sitting there idly. She is an active participant in everything that we see. In Texas, there was a camera trying to catch people illegally dumping or littering, and it captures exactly that.
Where are we in relation to where her sister's house is and where the body parts were found?
We're just a mile and a half down. At my particular unit, we were in charge of environmental crimes. At that time, the camera was set up right where you see these two trees. Saw something was odd in the photos. The female that got out of the truck started unloaded boxes and jugs and started shoving them under the tree in this fence line right behind me. She was shoving it into the bushes. And then I found some boxes of acid. Seemed really strange. And I had watched the news the night before showing her court appearance in Raleigh.
And so how did you put that two and two together?
They looked the same, looked like the same lady. It was kind of really basic.
People look at that and say, she doesn't look like she's under duress. She doesn't look like she's afraid.
A picture can tell 1,000 words, but it can hide 1,000 words too.
What do you think that picture was hiding?
I think that picture shows a still frame of a woman thinking she's out in the middle of nowhere in the country and just trying to hurry up, get it over with, get it done.
And my question is, if you are driving a vehicle down the road, dumping evidence, and you are so scared, keep driving. Go to the police, go somewhere for help.
The one difference between these two trials, we found out Amanda would testify.
I think the defense had decided that if she went on the stand, she had a way of projecting innocence.
Right now, we're going to begin with the North Carolina trial of a woman accused of killing the mother of her stepchildren.
Taking the stand for the first time this week, Amanda Hayes' defense was simple.
I was just doing whatever he told me to do.
Her husband made her do it.
How would you describe her?
Strong, poised, well-rehearsed, but in a very sweet, almost sing-songy baby voice.
Amanda, did you kill Laura Ackerson?
No, sir, I did not.
Did you help Grant kill Laura Ackerson?
I absolutely did not.
Were you present when Grant killed Laura Ackerson?
No, sir, I was not.
Grant told me that Amanda killed Laura in self-defense, but Amanda says it began with an accident.
The picture that Amanda paints inside that apartment on the night of the murder has Laura bumping into Amanda as Amanda is holding their newborn baby, and describes Laura falling to the ground.
Amanda Hayes says she had no idea Laura Ackerson had died after Ackerson was injured at the Hayes Raleigh apartment. She says she left with the children when Ackerson fell and hit her head.
I think she hurt her own credibility by telling these implausible stories about she came back after a couple of hours and had no idea that Laura had been killed and her body disposed of. You can't even do all that in a couple of hours.
This is a small apartment. Dismembering somebody takes a lot of things. It seems hard to believe that your mother didn't know.
It seems hard. It does seem hard to wrap your head around. It does.
I know you love your mom. I know you support her. Could it be that you're seeing it through rose-colored glasses?
Absolutely.
And that perhaps she was more involved than you'd like to believe?
Nobody will ever know what they don't know.
She also testified that her husband threatened to kill her if she didn't help dispose of the body.
He told me that that I had to help figure out how to get rid of this body, or else none of us were making it back to North Carolina, to Raleigh.
Did it ever seem to you like she could have also been a victim of Grant Hayes?
You know, I feel like there's a possibility that Amanda was a victim of Grant's charisma, Grant's narcissism. But beyond that, I don't believe that she was a victim of anything.
No one knows what that relationship's like, but and those pictures on Amanda's camera reflect Amanda having a good time and smiling the whole time.
Amanda Hayes is a former bit part performer who attended acting school in New York, but according to one of the prosecutors, none of her acting jobs were as good as the one she gave in this courtroom.
She has given the performance of her life.
She came across as sympathetic. She came across as, Grant's the controlling jerk, and I just got swept up in all this.
We're asking that you find her not guilty on both charges.
But would the jury believe Amanda?
We may never know what kind of verdict Amanda Hayes expected. If it was something different than what she got, her face didn't show it.
And what does Grant make of it all?
Laura's death killed me.
You're saying essentially that you're the victim in all of this.
The last night that I was with Grant, he handed me a notepad with these pages on it. Told me that it was important lyrics and that it was going to be worth money one day. But this was probably the most unsettling of the poetry that I found. I guess it's one sentence with the word murder in it 6 times. It's murder, 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 murder in my veins, murder in my soul, desertless in my heart, but to let this all go. And I think that's what just really upset me a little bit and had goosebumps when I read that for the first time after finding out about Laura.
Dramatic testimony in a first-degree murder case. Did her husband force her to cover up his crime?
It will be up to the jury to decide if Amanda Hayes was his accomplice or another victim.
It's time for Amanda to face justice. They wanted Amanda found responsible for her role in the death of Laura to the tune of first-degree murder.
It is the unanimous verdict of the jury that the defendant is guilty of murder in the second degree.
Amanda was convicted of the lesser charge of second-degree murder, and she was sentenced to between 13 and 17 years in a North Carolina prison.
They were both there. They both had the opportunity to save Laura's life. Neither one of them did it, so to me that makes them both guilty of first-degree murder.
What was your reaction to the verdict against your mom?
It was a glimpse of hope.
Why is that?
Because it wasn't life with no chance of parole.
Amanda is later tried and convicted in Texas for tampering with evidence, resulting in an additional 20 years in prison. What does justice look like for her?
I think more of it is what does justice look like for Laura and those little boys.
Who actually delivered a death blow? I don't know if Grant did it or if Amanda did it. The fact is, this husband and wife collaborated to kill this woman.
Despite being convicted for killing Laura, Grant remains steadfast in defending his image.
It doesn't sound to me like you have a lot of remorse about Laura's death.
Let me tell you something about my remorse in Laura's death. Laura's death killed me, killed my family. So I think I'm the most remorseful person. I am the one who everyone points at and says, he did this. He's the bad guy. He's the monster under the bed. It's just not true.
You're saying essentially that you're the victim in all of this.
No. Amanda and Lillian were the victims.
What, if any, regrets do you have in this whole matter?
I regret that we took her body apart. Ooh. It just colors the way that people are going to see me for the rest of my life.
When you think about Laura, what comes to mind?
I talked to her. I ask her to always watch over all of the kids. And I tell her thank you for watching over me.
Today, all 3 of Grant's children are being raised by his own mother. The kids have no contact with Grant or Amanda.
Those boys were Laura's life. She was doing everything to have a better life for them. She was a wonderful mother. She loved her boys more than anything, more than her own life.
We should point out tonight that Grant Hayes has filed several appeals. All have been denied. He tells 2020 he's continuing to fight for freedom.
Meanwhile, his ex-wife, David, Amanda, is in a Texas prison serving out her conviction. She declined to be interviewed. That's our program for tonight. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Deborah Roberts.
And I'm David Muir from all of us here at ABC News in 2020. Good night. Tonight, on an all-new 2020, a young woman is missing, but her family had to fight so hard to get any national attention.
Why is no one saying Tamika Houston's name at the same time as Natalee Holloway or Laci Peterson? I went to the key locations to follow the investigation.
Your search warrant to test for possible blood.
In your heart, you're thinking something's wrong.
I knew at that point that time was of the essence. She's gone. Like, we have to find her. She has to be in danger.
It was just like, oh my God, what's going on?
You went to Spartanburg. You wanted to see the location.
If you're looking for somebody, you gotta go. You gotta look for them.
I remember just sitting outside of her house in the car by myself, still not knowing what's going on.
I wanna know before I leave here, y'all gonna tell me something. Either she dead or we done found her.
You're Tamika's last known boyfriend.
Yeah.
You've got to know that people are going to look at you.
I told them, you're wasting time.
Tamika's home is here, and then they find the car across town at this apartment complex, which made no sense.
I saw this vision of someone looking through these woods or these bushes. I knew it was connected to Tamika.
Was that a real moment for you in this investigation? The key unlocks a door?
We talked about her not being here at 25.
You talked about her not being alive?
Yes. Yes.
What do you mean? When police entered this home on June 16, 2004, they find a disturbing scene. A dog which has apparently given birth to a litter of puppies with no owner in sight. That discovery would trigger the search for 24-year-old Tamika Houston. You get a call from Tamika's aunt that she's missing. How frantic was she?
In missing person cases, you learn from what how the family reacts. And once I met with Rebecca and talked with her, I knew it was serious.
My name is Steve Lamb. I was the lieutenant over the Investigation Bureau at the time. I did not know Tamika, but I felt like that Rebecca knew something was not right.
My sister Gabriella called me and she said, listen, she said, Beck, she said, I called her and she hasn't called me back yet. I was like, oh my gosh, Gabby, you know what? She hasn't called me back either.
And what are you thinking?
I panic at that point because it's one thing for her to ignore a casual message, but not a message like, Tamika, I need you to call me right now. So I picked up the phone and called the Spartanburg Public Safety Department to report her missing.
So you get this call. What's your first effort to check this out?
So our patrol division responds first. They check the residence. Nothing unusual, knock on the door, check the mailbox, check with neighbors.
I remember being on the phone and they're telling me, there doesn't seem to be signs of a disturbance, like the doors are locked. Her car wasn't there, which so like, oh, maybe she did just take a trip.
To be honest with you, it was typical for her to, go through a moment where she was just doing her own thing. So it didn't really raise any red flags.
Tamika's parents were divorced. Her dad lived in South Carolina and her mom, Gabriella, lived in Virginia.
It wasn't unlike her to get in her car and drive from Spartanburg and show up at Gabby's doorstep with no notice. Showed up in Miami and called me and was like, hey, I'm gonna come down for dinner tonight. We had family all up and down the East Coast, just no one had heard from her.
At what point do you go in?
One of the investigators felt like there was an odor coming from the residence.
Well, I knew that, there was potentially a crime scene. Honestly, I expected to find her in there, but she wasn't.
They did a wellness check, and they found things in her home that were completely inconsistent with her personality.
There was a dog inside and a puppy, and I think there were more puppies at one time, but they had died. The dog had drank all the water out of its bowl, eaten all of its food, drank all the water out of the toilet. It was just obvious that she had not been there in quite some time.
When law enforcement finally showed up at her house, her pit bull was there on the verge of starvation. There was only one puppy who was still barely alive.
There's death inside. It's like a crime scene that the dog is telling us, she's gone, she's missing. Go find her.
That scared me. That really, really scared me because I knew Macy was like her child. It was just a horrific scene.
Tamika's Aunt Rebecca, her mom's younger sister, lived in Miami. The two had been close since Tamika was a child.
We're only 7 years apart, so honestly, she was really more like a little sister to me.
That's Tamika opening a present from her Aunt Becky.
Oh, my gosh, I wanted to see.
She was full of personality. She was only 4'11", but when she walked into the room, you'd think she's 6 feet tall because she just commanded the attention of the room.
Me and Tamika actually met in junior high school. She had just transferred from another district, and I was assigned to her that day. Kind of showed her around the school, became fast friends.
What was the bond like between the two of them, Tamika and Zelda?
Zelda and Tamika loved each other. They were, thick as thieves right away. They were more than friends, they were sisters.
At the time, Tamika lived with her father, Anthony, in Spartanburg, South Carolina, where she would eventually settle.
She loved my dad. They fuss, fight, just like any other father and daughter relationship. But I do know that my dad, he loved the ground that my sister walked on. My name is Antonia. Tamika was my big sister. I couldn't tell that she was much older than me. Like, she was always playing the games that I wanted to play. They said my sister had a temper. Like, she would snap on you in a blink of an eye. But she was a really good person.
She was free-spirited and very, very spiritual because she grew up in a church.
She had a humble spirit. That was just, oh my God, that was just so different.
She was talented.
Oh, she had a voice, yes. Yes, she could sing. She really could.
She wanted to try for American Idol. Tell me about that.
We went to American Idol. God, that was an experience.
Over 10,000 people packed into the Georgia Dome.
We were excited. We were happy to be there, and she made it through the first round.
Her favorite artist was Lauryn Hill. She could sing her songs just the way that she sung them.
And just like Lauryn Hill in Sister Act 2,
because I'm happy.
Tamika does a rendition of His Eye is on the Sparrow at her aunt's wedding.
His eye is on the sparrow.
She sang at your wedding.
She did, yeah. It's one of the most special memories we have. We talked about it for years, even before I was engaged to be married. I'm gonna sing at your wedding one day.
He watches me.
Everyone talked about her big voice and this tiny, tiny body that you just would not or could not ignore.
You were just drawn to her, and people, strangers, were drawn to her. She was a little, I think, too open-hearted to folks and a little bit too trusting.
She had a soft heart for people and for animals.
Yeah, she loved animals. I'm not a dog person, but Tamika loved her dogs.
And now, strangely, police have found her dog Macy seemingly abandoned, with Tamika nowhere to be found.
There was no way she would just up and leave her beloved dog to starve.
In your heart, you're thinking something's wrong.
I knew at that point that time was of the essence. She's disappeared, she's gone. Like, we have to find her. She has to be in danger.
That's actress Erica Alexander shining on the red carpet after starring in the Oscar-winning movie American Fiction.
One day maybe you'll learn that not being able to relate to other people isn't a badge of honor.
But so many remember her as that hard-charging lawyer in the 90s sitcom Living Single.
Look, I'm the lawyer here. I know how to work the system.
Erica's also an activist and a documentarian. In 2020, in the midst of protest over racial injustices in this country, she was approached about creating a podcast about Tamika Houston's disappearance.
And at the time I thought, actually, probably no, because I knew then that very few people would want to make something about a black girl. But then, of course, I said yes, thinking, well, if not you, Erica, who? Audible Originals presents Finding Tamika, hosted by Erica Alexander.
Months of reporting leads to Finding Tamika, a 10-part true crime audio series executive produced by actor and comedian Kevin Hart and influential radio host Charlamagne Tha God.
Kevin was on the same time that I was. He was like, man, this is a story that we need to amplify because of the epidemic of black women that go missing in this country.
You really gave a lot of your life to this story.
That's what it needed. It needed sweat equity.
If you know anything about Erica Alexander, if you ever worked with her, she's hands-on.
I hunted for clues and explanation with the family. I rode along with a detective who trailed the case, all with a goal to truly find out what really happened to Tamika.
You went to Spartanburg. You wanted to see the location.
Yeah.
You needed to be there.
It was important to be there because everything took place there. Cool, Spartanburg.
Spartanburg. It's a small town in the south. Started out as a cotton mill area.
A lot of people come here to raise their families. So I would describe it as a place that you can call home.
If you look at the statistics, I don't think Spartanburg is per capita anymore violent than any other. But like every other jurisdiction, you know, you're far more likely to be killed by somebody that knows you than you are a stranger.
I remember just sitting outside of her house in the car by myself, still not knowing what's going on. And then I heard that my sister was missing. We definitely thought like she would be walking down the street in a minute.
I remember Rebecca calling and saying that they were coming here to meet with the police department. It was just like, oh my God, what's going on?
I booked a flight and I had to come here.
Rebecca, well connected in the PR world, jumped in to use her experience in the media to help spread the word about her niece's disappearance.
The first thing I did after landing was go directly to the police station. I remember being very fixated on getting the public information officer to do a press release.
I remember saying she wasn't going to leave the building until someone did some media stuff, and we did. And I think just of her persistence that I felt like it was important.
Tamika's mom, Gabriella, makes an emotional plea on the local news for her daughter's return.
I know deep down in my heart that somebody knows something, but please, we plead, just let us know where she is.
We just kind of designed a flyer, and we're just putting up all around town.
Flyers have gone up in her neighborhood to help police.
At the top, in bright red type, was the word missing. Below it, in black, all caps, Tamika Antoinette Houston. Next to a description of her tattoo was a photo of Tamika. It's the Tamika everyone knows, confident, assured, and in control.
What are you hearing from her friends around that time about her habits?
Yeah, a lot of her friends are thinking she's out of town, and a lot of people originally are saying that that's not unusual.
They thought she was going on a trip, and all those little possibilities we have to run down.
Normally, she would have told someone, some family member, where she was going or if she was going somewhere.
When she disappeared, Tamika was living alone. She had recently quit her waitressing job, and her family says she was trying to find herself.
The reason why it took a moment for it to be discovered that she was missing, because she was at a crossroads. She wasn't working. She had told her mom that she wanted to return to school.
She had broken up with her boyfriend.
She had broken up with her boyfriend. So it was just kind of like a perfect storm of events.
You're her last known boyfriend. How did you meet, and what was special about her?
My family had a corner store. It's called Shirley's Pantry. And I leave the pantry and I saw Tamika, and Tamika's 4'11".
Small.
Yes, but thick in the waist. Very thick in the waist. So, and I could see she was very attractive. As I was getting on my motorcycle, I heard a voice say, "Do you have an extra helmet?" So I said, "No, you can wear mine." And it was like love at first sight. It was like a trust love, not just an attraction. You know, something deeper than that.
Tamika was someone who came into Terrance's life like a comet. He was newly separated, and her boldness and free-spiritedness was a breath of fresh air.
I know that she was deeply in love with him and vice versa.
I remember Terrance being a funny guy. Always joking, always laughing, and he kept my sister smiling. I do remember that.
Terrance was actually the first boyfriend that Tamika was really serious about. Overall, he seemed to me to have a very kind heart. He seemed very protective of Tamika.
And it was Terrance who first raised the alarm about Tamika being missing.
I got a phone call from Terrance, who left me a message, actually.
Hi, Becky. This is Terrance. I've been trying to get in contact with Tamika. Nobody seems to have heard from her, so I just want to know if she's safe. That's all. Thank you.
He said that he hadn't been in touch with Tamika, that she wasn't returning his phone calls. My instinct was that I know that one of the last conversations I had with her, she had told me that they had broken up, so I thought that she was perhaps just avoiding him, but surely she wouldn't avoid me, so I'll just call her.
Days with no word from Tamika, Rebecca contacts the Spartanburg Police Department asking them to conduct a welfare check on her home.
So it wasn't unusual for her mother or relatives not to have heard from her for a while. Nobody was alarmed right away.
Not right away. Not until we went to the house and Macy was at.
Tamika's ex-boyfriend, Terrance, kind of got the ball rolling, started calling people.
He's the one who told everybody that he couldn't find Tamika. So it's a very ironic thing to be the person who calls Rebecca and the mother, Gabby, and says, "I can't find Tamika." And suddenly the eyes start turned toward you.
You always look to boyfriends. I mean, that's the first place you look.
2020 obtained never-before-seen law enforcement interviews. In this videotape statement, Rebecca tells police that Tamika had shared some concerns about Terrance.
He was staying up real late at night, not really sleeping, pacing the floor, quoting scripture, like excessively, that his actions were being directed by God. It just worried me.
According to talking to her friends and other people in the community, those two were over.
I mean, she was like, "Oh, well, we're not together anymore." And she started to cry about it. And I was like, "Well, you guys, y'all will get back together." And she was like, she called me Zeke. She was like, Zeke, I don't know about that this time around. I think I'm done.
She and Terrence had a pretty volatile relationship.
So you got the feeling that any place where there's smoke, there's fire. He admitted to that.
She and he had had some domestic violence type issues prior. So that was the first person that we were interested in this case.
Her and Terrence had this domestic dispute. So it was all kind of thoughts going through my mind.
Now, was Terrence involved? Did he do something and something had gone too far?
Police want to know what Terrence knows, so they bring him in for questioning.
Laci Peterson was 8.5 months pregnant when she disappeared from her Modesto home Christmas Eve.
Her husband Scott says he was out fishing when she vanished.
Around the same time Tamika has gone missing, Scott Peterson is in the news. He's a suspect in the murder of his wife, Laci.
Scott Peterson attended this New Year's Eve vigil for Laci in Modesto, California.
All the way across the country in Spartanburg, South Carolina, Tamika's family is holding a vigil too. And all eyes are on her concerned ex-boyfriend, Terrence.
We really worried about her. Been by Tamika's home and none of her mail has been picked up. She hadn't called her mom.
There's a vigil for Tamika.
Mm-hmm.
You attend this vigil.
Mm-hmm.
You're Tamika's last known boyfriend.
Yeah.
Now she's missing. You've got to know that people are going to look at you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I was prepared for that.
Terrence was at that vigil, and some people were looking suspiciously at him.
I know that Anthony, Tamika's dad, had strong feelings about that. I felt like maybe he wasn't being as forthcoming about information, and I just wanted to make sure that he was telling me everything he knew, and that if he wasn't going to tell me, that he was at least being forthcoming with police.
And now with cameras rolling, Terrence is ready to answer some questions.
Yeah, I want y'all to tape it. Yeah, do that, man. Yeah, that's... Yeah.
You know I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna shut the door.
Ain't no problem. That's fine. Yeah. Good.
We started following up on past history and interviewed him to see if he may be linked to her disappearance.
If you talk to anybody, man, that knows me, man, I ain't nothing but love, man. I ain't nothing but love. And I, you know what I'm saying, I have been for the last 2 weeks, man, Scott Peterson.
He was pretty open about the fact that there had been violence in their relationship. That's not something that most people volunteer. So the fact that he was honest about something that was inculpatory, I think tended to make them believe him a little bit more when he said, look, I haven't seen her. I understand why you're talking to me, but I didn't do it.
I could disappear on y'all and make y'all do some work. My people been loading up, man. You want to leave here? I'm like, no, I don't want to leave. I want to know before I leave here, y'all gonna tell me something. Either she did or we done found her before I leave here.
You tell police that even though you've broken up, that you still have feelings for her.
We had to separate. But the bond, it wasn't going nowhere.
I love her, man, and I miss her, and I want her to come home.
Police have no evidence linking Terrence to Tamika's disappearance, but he remains a person of interest.
What must it be like to suddenly walk in a room and people are saying that you killed your girlfriend or you could be a murderer? Where do you hide? Where do you go? You don't.
Word of Tamika's disappearance spread through the community, with missing persons posters plastered everywhere. One at this gas station caught the eye of a woman who noticed the description of Tamika's car matched an abandoned vehicle at her apartment complex.
Sunday, I got called at home and said that patrol officers had found her vehicle on the other side of town.
Tamika's home is here, and then they find the car across town at this apartment complex, which made no sense.
Yeah, no, not at all. And I think for a while it confused them.
You find the car. What's your first assessment once you find it?
We knew it had been there a while. The windows was cracked. It had been raining in them. And we could not link her to being anywhere in that area. And there's really nothing forensic-wise that we recovered from that vehicle. It wasn't like there was her blood or DNA or anything.
And now there's her car, but no Tamika. So I'm sure that sent fear through her family's heart.
That was really tough because when you're going through it, it's like your emotions, it's like such a range of emotions because at first it's like, oh my gosh, they found their car. You're thinking, oh, well, maybe she's just been staying with someone. So, oh, this is the break that we need. But then, when we all descend upon, the police are kind of like, it kind of looks like this car has been here for quite a long time. It just makes you even a little bit more desperate.
Kids, they used to say to me, like, your sister's dead. She's never coming back home. Y'all need to stop searching for her.
Finding Tamika's abandoned car was a blow to her family, but inside it, police make a key discovery.
Her car was found at Barksdale Apartments, and during the search of her car, a key was located.
It was a set, I believe, 5 or 6 keys. You can tell one's a house key, 2 of them is a vehicle key, and then maybe 2 more as locks.
They didn't fit her house, they didn't fit her car. We didn't really know what these keys were for or where they had come from.
That led us in a little bit of the right direction and also into more problems.
You find keys in this car that don't seem to belong to her.
Correct.
That was a critical moment.
Yes. We had no clue where they went to.
That was an added mystery that the police were dealing with at the time.
Now that Tamika's car has been discovered abandoned, detectives want to go back and take a closer look inside her home.
But once we found the car, that kind of started the case to be more suspicious that there may be something criminal involved.
I just remember being across the house. As it started to get dark, they were spraying the luminol and that very eerie, emanating purplish blue lights that you see coming from the house. And that was really difficult because it felt very surreal and it's terrifying because you're like, what's going to be revealed?
No signs of foul play, no new leads at Tamika's house. But then,
Department 911.
A 911 call sends police on a mission.
Her car was found abandoned on the north side of town.
No one has seen or heard from her in nearly a month.
I want to make her know that we love her and we want her to come home.
In the very beginning, where does this investigation take you? Are you getting any leads?
Not really. We put out some stuff locally, media, and talked with the families, neighborhood, some community people here who knew Tamika, but really didn't have a lot to go on.
And you get this 911 call.
Yes.
Department 911.
My brother just came to my house and told me that he killed his girlfriend and put her in Cleveland Park Lake.
You have a 911 call that talks about someone being put in the lake that's been killed, and it's pretty much the exact same length of time the car had been sitting in the parking lot.
Did it sound credible that somebody might have tossed somebody in this small lake?
It sounded credible to us, just the way the guy was talking.
Where does he live? He's there in Barksdale.
The Barksdale is the same apartment complex where police found Tamika's abandoned car, and it's just blocks away from Cleveland Park Lake. Police get wind of a 911 call that happened about the time of her disappearance. You listened to it.
Mm-hmm.
What did you make of that?
Who is making this phone call? And they're talking about dredging the lake and doing all these things with the lake. It just adds kind of to the desperation of the situation.
We actually put some divers in that day, 2 local divers, and they couldn't find anything. And then we put cadaver dogs were here as well, and they kind of cleared it.
That 911 caller was never identified, but police eventually determined it was not related to Tamika's case.
You get a lot of calls, most of which turn out to be either innocently mistaken or crank calls.
Someone had reached out to me and said that they were a psychic and they could provide me with information where Tamika was. And all I needed to do was Western Union them.
And you did?
I did.
Just out of desperation?
Just out of desperation. And he gave me this ridiculous story of, that she was being held against her will and just very vague information. In hindsight, I know better.
That's the downside of publicity. There are lots of crank calls. The upside is you get some really, really good information.
In fact, there were those who truly wanted to help the family. Like Elaine Painter, a local Spartanburg woman who says she sometimes has visions about people.
Come back to me. My husband was leaving for work. He brought the newspaper in and laid it on the kitchen table. Come back to me. He said, this beautiful girl's missing. She's a young girl, we need to pray for her. So I looked at the picture and she had this captivating smile and these beautiful eyes. Come back to me. And I moved the paper over and I just put my hand on her face and I prayed that they would find her alive. Come back to me. I just pray a lot. I'm not a psychic, I don't read cards. I saw this vision of someone looking through this woods or these bushes, and I knew it was connected to Tamika. Come home.
Elaine felt her vision was too powerful to ignore, so she calls police.
We have that quite a bit. On major cases, people feel like they know some information in some fashion or form. We listen to everyone who contacts us. We rode around a few places, and she knew some things about some areas that we've had major crime scenes.
They stopped by this lake. He said, do you think she could be in the lake? I said, no, she's not in the lake. You won't find her body in water anywhere. He said, do you think she was shot? And I said, no, she wasn't shot. There was a lot of blood. I guess I thought I was just going to ride over there and I was going to see this guy looking through some bushes and say, okay, case solved. But I would go back home crying every time because I thought God sent me to find her. I couldn't, so what am I doing? I'm wasting their time.
Miss Painter was very humble, amazing lady, was just trying to help out in the case. And I wanted to listen to her.
Police are actually open to Elaine's help. And months later, she goes on another ride along with them after she says she has a new and very specific vision.
I could see blood, her crumbled body on the left side of the closet.
A closet? Police aren't sure what to make of this.
I can't stop searching.
But they do know that time is of the essence, and Tamika's Aunt Rebecca is doing everything she can to push for more public attention.
You're a PR exec. Your husband's an NFL player. If anybody should be able to attract attention, I would think it would be the two of you.
Yeah, you
But
would
yet
think.
you're struggling to get the message out.
Right. I was used to the media being, enthralled with these stories. I assumed that I was going to be able to get that sort of attention for Tamika, and I could not have been more wrong.
It's hard to beat the media for getting a face out there. Whatever leads it could generate, that's what she was after.
I need all eyes looking for her. Anything that anyone I could reach out to, I was.
While Tamika's case did get local news coverage, Rebecca noticed that some other missing women were getting widespread national attention.
27-year-old Lori Hacking went for her morning jog and never returned.
Tamika was missing, actively missing. I really had no leads on where she was. That it was pretty devastating to see Lori Hacking's case become a national story really overnight.
And you're being met with silence.
Yeah.
How frustrating was that?
Extremely frustrating.
But her persistence pays off. Tamika's case is now getting noticed by John Walsh's America's Most Wanted.
Tamika Houston is a young woman who disappeared down in South Carolina.
Will the spotlight on her case now lead to finding Tamika?
As the seasons changed, Rebecca continued to use her PR skills to advocate for Tamika. She focused her attention on Fox's Saturday evening primetime hit, America's Most Wanted.
You had gone to America's Most Wanted.
Yeah. I got the attention of a young associate producer at the time, Tiffany Cross, who said that she was drawn to the story because Tamika looked like her.
Her case file had kind of made it through a lot of producers and landed on my desk. And as soon as I read the story and I just looked through the notes and I talked to her aunt, Rebecca Howard, this was a story I knew I could own.
Tiffany advocated for our stories. It was officially greenlit. And that October, Tiffany was off to Spartanburg.
I just wanted to get on ground and understand who the people in this community were and what they could tell me about Tamika.
When you're thinking about national publicity, America's Most Wanted, why did that matter?
Brands. Brands matter. That's a top shelf brand. But also that means that they have the audience. The audience is looking. It gives them assurance that maybe if they think they know something, that they should call it in. And that's huge.
Tom Morris, America's Most Wanted.
The unique thing about America's Most Wanted is we worked alongside law enforcement. The first person I met in law enforcement on Tamika's story was Detective Steve Lamb.
All the leads that we've chased down have run into basically a dead end. I think they helped with the case, putting it out on a national level.
Steve Lamb seemed very dedicated to finding out what happened to Tamika.
We started just building flow charts of family and friends and people that she had dated or had relationships with, and we started seeking out all those individuals to communicate with them.
One name that kept coming up routinely when I got on site was Terrence.
The community and the family felt like Terrence was a person of interest in the case.
Terrence says he expected police to suspect him, but not his own family, especially an aunt who helped raise him.
So I asked her, why haven't you gotten with me and called me and prayed with me? She looked me in my face and she said, we thought you did it.
That must have hurt.
I told my heart out my chest.
Terrence was very offended that people thought he had something to do with Tamika's disappearance. I told Terrence we wanted to speak with him. I armed our reporter with tiny lipstick cameras, and we set off in a car behind him and sent him to talk to Terrence.
You're telling me you did not have anything to do with it, correct? Exactly.
At one point, he even got down on his knees talking to our reporter, trying to plead that he did not do this.
Why do you agree to talk to America's Most Wanted?
I wanted the story to get out. I'm thinking like, okay, America's Most Wanted, they're stable, they have good researchers, they have good, but y'all come with this, so I'm like, y'all didn't come to help find her. You came to get a confession. You're wasting time.
Of course, you always look to boyfriends, but if there's nothing there, at a certain point you have to move on.
Over time, we felt like that he was not involved in her disappearance.
One thing that I've always thought about Tamika, and I always wanted people to know, is that she was a very spiritual person. Tamika knew that she would not live long.
We talked about her not being here at 25.
You talked about her not being alive?
Yes.
What do you mean?
She knew that something tragic was gonna happen to her.
You're saying she didn't think she was going to live
No,
long?
she knew. I didn't say think. She knew she wasn't gonna live to be 25. Knew. We had these conversations.
Spartanburg detectives with the America's Most Wanted team in tow are now focusing on those keys found in Tamika's car.
They told us about it, and then we filmed them finding the keys.
Matching the key was basically finding a needle in a haystack.
And it's that key that begins to unlock the mystery into Tamika's disappearance.
We're able to trace it back to an apartment complex, but even then, the odyssey was just beginning.
We go through with management, knocking on the door.
Detectives go from door to door before making a shocking discovery.
Investigators found a really big bleach stain, which is Latin for I'm covering something up.
In the very beginning, where does this investigation take you? Are you getting any leads?
People knew that Tamika had gone missing.
Was that a real moment for you in this investigation? You finally, the key unlocks the door?
I thought it'd be something like this. Saying on TV, but not in real life.
That was the key piece of evidence that they needed to figure out what exactly happened to Tamika, and that was just the beginning.
People had seen her here.
Yes, had seen her and thought that she had dated someone.
Entering apartment 215, Fremont Apartments.
The investigators found a really big bleach stain, which is Latin for I'm covering something up.
And his explanation for the stain was that it was red Kool-Aid. Red Kool-Aid.
Which is amazing in a way, because this leads to the discovery which leads them right here.
I thought you had to be a monster.
You said that this case touched you like no other had. Why?
Because I know how much black girls don't matter.
There's a woman out there who's helpless, and we don't know what happened to her.
Family members say Tamika would never leave her pet home alone.
The weeks turn into months. The search goes on.
Yeah.
No sign of Tamika.
I still had so much hope that she's gonna pop up. She's gonna pop up.
Tamika's black Honda CRX was found here at the Barksdale apartment complex, but there was no sign of a struggle, no blood, no Tamika.
They find Tamika's car, and then they find these keys. What did you learn about those keys?
I look at keys all the time, and I never think about what's on them. Sometimes there are things that identify them. You think that that's just the key brand, but it turns out that the key maker had a code. AA14. That's the number on the keys that they found in the car.
And they weren't Tamika's keys?
No, they weren't. But that code was important.
Fate must have been on Lieutenant Lamb's side that day as he stepped into one of the local key shops. Well, fate and fate.
We just decided to go to a local locksmith who had been here for decades and show him the keys to see if he had any ideas. And one of the keys had a stamp, and it was a code that he recognized that he had created.
It was crazy. Again, AA14, it told him that he made the key, but also through his files, suddenly, boom, he can tell you where those keys fit.
When this particular key was brought to us, we knew it was a housing authority key, so we then cross-referenced it, and we saw the AA14 matched the Fremont school apartment.
That code told him that it was made for the Fremont school apartments.
Which is amazing in a way, because this leads to the discovery which leads them right here. How do you even begin to figure out where these keys go to here?
We just went to management and told them what we were doing, and we were allowed to try the keys.
With Tamika missing and the clock ticking, the question is, could she be held inside that apartment complex?
We tried every single apartment, and the last one opened.
Was that a real moment for you in this investigation? You finally, the key unlocks a door?
Yes, it was. I mean, it was great for us. I think it was one of the turning points in the case.
It opens like a storage room. And as it turns out, when somebody moves out in those apartments, they just swap locks from an apartment that's empty or another room, and they just swap the locks between the two rooms, and they keep no record of it.
When he tried the keys and the door opened, that was the key piece of evidence that they needed to figure out what exactly happened to Tamika, and that was just the beginning.
It didn't fit an active apartment, but at least we knew we were in the right apartment complex at that point.
We processed it just to make sure she was not being held down there, but it turned into nothing.
And had Tamika had any connection to this apartment building, that as far as you knew?
Loosely, we thought, but we didn't have anything for sure. But now, once we started talking to people in the apartment complex and things, people began to know who she was.
People had seen her here?
Yes, had seen her and thought that she had dated somebody named Chris that lived here.
Tamika's best friend, Zelda, had actually met Chris, but only one time. The last time she saw Tamika.
She knocked on the door, and she had a guy with her, and they came in, and she was like, "Hey, Zelda, this is my friend Chris." And I was like, "Hey, Chris," and he was kind of standoffish. I'm like, "Where did he come from?" She was like, "Oh, he's just my friend." His demeanor was really odd. I'm like, who is this guy?
Chris Hampton was another boyfriend of Tamika's, and he had a little bit of a record.
He was out on a bank robbery, on some probation.
He had actually called the FBI when they were working that bank robbery, saying he hadn't done it, that it wasn't him, and but they were already showing his pictures.
What had you known about Chris Hampton? Anything?
Nothing. From my understanding, he was relatively a new person kind of in her universe. I was her aunt. We did have a very sisterly relationship, but I think she would look to me for approval. If she just met somebody that she wasn't really sure about, like by the time that she lets me know that she's dating someone, it would be more of a serious type of relationship. So I had no clue whatsoever that she even knew this person.
He was one of the people she had dated in the past that we put on the list that we were trying to contact and interview.
We determined at some point that Christopher Hampton had been a tenant in an apartment there at Fremont Apartments. So he very much became a person of interest.
Detectives begin talking with Christopher Hampton, who tells them that the last time he saw Tamika, she wanted to borrow money before heading to Myrtle Beach for Bike Week back in May.
I was assigned as an FBI special agent to the Tamika Houston matter. We had information that we wanted to confront Christopher Hampton with to see whether he could validate that information, whether he would cooperate with questioning.
And you don't remember when you let her borrow that money?
Like I said, I told you last time, it was like a couple of days before Bike Week started.
Did you see her at any point after that?
Nah, that was the last time I seen her.
He was wanting to be helpful and was trying to give the last information that he remembered when he last saw her.
This was your girlfriend?
Nah, we just, she was one of the girls I was messing with.
He shared that he had a girlfriend that was pregnant. And so that becomes a point of confrontation in these interviews. Is Tamika aware of this? How does she feel about that?
She know that I had a baby on the way and she respected it. My baby mama. And she respected it.
Do you have anything to do with her disappearance?
Nah. Nope.
Okay.
I don't know nothing about it. She was one person I messed with, and I hate, she missed none of her, but, I got a life to live. I never thought I'd be in the middle of something like this. Saying on TV, but, not in real life.
I got a mother and a father and an entire family doesn't know what happened to this little girl.
Yeah, but, and I guarantee nothing happened to her. What if she come back,
That's right.
Christmas time.
While police have no evidence on Christopher Hampton, they want to keep him talking. Then a letter written on Christmas Eve offers detectives a gift they weren't expecting. What's inside would break this case wide open.
And instantly, I knew, why is this guy telling us he rented a carpet cleaner?
As the seasons change and the months go by, Tamika's family marks a heartbreaking milestone, her 25th birthday. And on Christmas Eve 2004, Christopher Hampton writes a curious letter to law enforcement.
So Mr. Hampton addressed a letter to myself on December 24th. He says in the letter, I went to my apartment and found that somebody had come into my apartment and poured beer on my floor, smeared mayo, ketchup, hot sauce, flour, and all kinds of other stuff all over my bedroom floor.
And in this letter, he talked about he had rented a carpet cleaner. And instantly, I knew, why is this guy telling us he rented a carpet cleaner? He's telling us this because he thinks we know something that we don't know.
He goes on to say, I saw Tamika last the day before I rented the cleaner.
We felt that was very unusual for someone to write a letter to law enforcement about unusual damage in their apartment and ring a steam cleaner, right after the last time they saw someone missing.
I remember Steve bringing me the letter, and my thought is, we have a missing young woman that you were connected with, and you want us to believe it's ketchup? Keep talking, keep writing.
That letter raises suspicions about what might have happened in Hampton's old Fremont apartment, so detectives check it out.
Which apartment then?
Far corner.
Back here.
Far corner top apartment.
We didn't have a warrant. Big lady opened the door, let us in. We didn't tell her why we were there, but other than trying to investigate a crime.
The investigators found a really big bleach stain, which is Latin for I'm covering something up.
We felt like there was enough to execute a search warrant at that prior apartment he lived in.
Entering apartment 215, Fremont Apartments. When we were processing Chris's apartment, we would walk through doing a videotape document what it looked like before and after. Straight across the hall, it's your first bedroom.
We used Blue Star to spray on the carpet, and you spray in the dark, and if there's human blood there, it will illuminate, and it hit in his bedroom area and in his closet area.
Blood was found underneath the carpet. Once we pulled the carpet up, there was large amounts of blood. It soaked through the carpet and was just on the floor, and a lot in the closet.
You find blood in the apartment.
Yes.
But is it Tamika's blood?
We didn't know at that time, but eventually we did. Over the course of a few days, we linked DNA back to her.
With this latest development, Tamika's family now is struggling to keep hope alive.
When you find out that there is blood in this apartment, what goes through you?
At that point, I was I resigned at that point.
In your gut, you know.
I felt up until that point I had a lot of hope, but I think that's when I knew that we weren't going to see her again.
That same day, Lieutenant Lamb gets an unexpected call from Elaine Painter, the woman who said she had visions about Tamika's case.
The night that we found the blood in the apartment, she called me on the phone and said she knew something good was happening in the case. And there's no way she could have known that.
Tamika's blood had been found in a closet, just like Elaine Painter says she had seen in her vision months earlier. Police would later take her inside that apartment.
And we walked up these steps and they opened the door and I saw a closet. And I knew that was where she died.
There's potentially a big break this morning in the case of a missing 24-year-old woman who disappeared last year. Investigators now say they found blood in a former apartment of a person that they've been questioning.
This is a video of the first interview that I had done with Chris. This is shortly after the blood was found in his apartment. What's that look like to you, Chris?
Some kind of stain, like.
Mm-hmm. It is. That's underneath the carpet in your room.
What kind of stain?
That's blood. See this letter right here that you wrote?
Mm-hmm.
In that letter you talk about cleaning the floor, all right? And what this is a crime scene.
Yeah, I don't know about it.
When I interviewed him, he was uncooperative. He didn't want to acknowledge anything. Whatever happened to Tamika happened right there in your apartment.
Yeah, I believe that.
Listen to me. I don't care if you believe it or not, I'm telling you, all right?
No, I came to the apartment, it had all kind of damn flour and stuff on my floor, like beer. People pour beer on the floor or something. All kind of like ketchup and stuff like that. No, I ain't got nothing. I ain't with that.
He doesn't want to accept the facts for what they are, that this is blood residue, this is not a kitchen condiment.
Well, her blood is all over your floor.
How you know her blood? It could be anybody's blood.
No, it can't be anybody's blood. How long you think we've been doing this? You don't know that we can tell one person's blood from another blood?
I doubt it.
You ever heard of DNA?
Yeah.
I'm telling you the girl died in your apartment. I'm not wishy-washing around there. I'm telling you that. That's a fact. Watching that now, one reason I would chuckle is the fact that I know I'm lying to him at that point. We didn't know for sure that that was Tamika's blood. We believed it, but we didn't know it.
We're trying to press him to produce Tamika's body.
You're willing to weigh this whole charge yourself?
If I have to, because I don't know what's going on. You gotta lock me up just to solve your case of.
I'm not looking for a body to hang this charge on. I'm looking for Tamika's body.
The solicitor's office didn't want us to charge him until we had the body. At that time, I don't think we had ever tried a no-body case. If you don't have a body, it's definitely not a slam dunk.
Yeah, it was the
circuit solicitor, which everyone else calls district attorney. The goal is not an arrest. The goal is a conviction.
So we're trying to identify him as the killer.
Then, unexpectedly, somebody else surfaces, saying she too had been in Hampton's apartment.
There was no reason why she should be in that room.
Tom Morris has the story of a young woman with a big voice and a big heart. She may have followed her heart into some big trouble.
Tamika Houston has been missing for 10 months when the America's Most Wanted segment airs.
We decided to come to Spartanburg to see what AMW could do to get some answers for Tamika's family.
The tenant had cleaned up what he thought was ketchup. Crime lab techs went to work, and they didn't find ketchup. It was Tamika's blood.
America's Most Wanted was this show that was interactive.
We'd love to hear from you. You can call 1-800-CRIME-TV, ask for me or the detectives.
People would watch the show on Saturday night in real time, and anyone could call in with a tip.
And where are you located?
The show's got a hotline in their studio in Washington, D.C.
Can you describe it?
Where trained employees and law enforcement are at the ready in case a lead comes in.
America's Most Wanted.
My name's Steve Lamb. I'm from South Carolina.
We would have cameras there. You would even cover law enforcement walking around from phone to phone. And sometimes they'd say, hey, I have something. And you would give the phone to the detective, and they could talk to the person.
America's Most Wanted. Round glasses. We'll pass this information along.
Lieutenant Lamb said they waited, and calls started to come in. And somewhere near around midnight, they got a call from a young woman.
Someone here locally who felt they may know some information.
You moved the dresser?
She is a young juvenile that had a relationship with Hampton and had went over to his residence close to the crime scene time and had been with him that evening.
Said they go back into his bedroom. She said that he spilled Kool-Aid in the floor.
I got an investigator here locally in Spartanburg to meet that individual that night.
She knows exactly where that stain is.
That kind of helps seal up some information in reference to the case.
The caller is just 15 years old. Police bring her in and interview her on camera. This is the first time that video is being shown publicly. We blurred her and altered her voice.
When I looked at the show tonight, the America's Most Wanted, they said they was talking. They said that whoever it was said that it was ketchup. That stain did not look like no ketchup. It looked like that was liquid that had been poured. It looked like it was coming from the closet.
She said the dresser was pulled in front of the closet door. She knew something that we had not released.
We had no further evidence pointing to where Tamika might be. And the fact that this 15-year-old girl made a link, a connection between blood on this person's floor in his apartment was interesting to us.
And he didn't have no cover on his bed. It was just a brand new bed.
She had visited his apartment and he had what appeared to be a stain that could possibly have been blood, but he tried to explain it away.
And his explanation for the stain was that it was
red Kool-Aid.
Red Kool-Aid.
That's what he told me.
I get goosebumps. There was no reason why she should be in that room. In a way, you're grateful, but then again, you're horrified.
The witness is implicating Christopher Hampton at the crime scene and calling into question his explanation about that carpet stain.
I knew at that point they were zeroing in on him.
National media coverage matters in missing persons cases. It's not just any coverage, it's primetime coverage. Because although it may take a village to raise a child, more often than not, it takes a nation to find a missing child, or anybody for that matter.
In the early 2000s, there was a lot of missing white women that got outsized attention. And it was very frustrating to be a Black woman working in newsrooms and seeing how different stories stayed on television consistently.
I was like, listen, you guys are ignoring Black women at their expense. In this country, we have 40% of missing persons cases are persons of color. Why is it when you turn on your television, you only see white faces?
Tomorrow marks 1 week since 18-year-old Natalie Holloway vanished on the last day of her senior class trip. I was reporting on that case in Aruba, yet
I had not heard of Tamika Houston.
Right. You're reporting on Natalee Holloway, and you're a black woman and don't know about it.
Like other reporters, I too was covering all kinds of stories, often about missing people, women in particular.
Not realizing some of the people who weren't being covered.
What did you hear back when you said, it seems that you're ignoring black women?
There's an ABC News reporter who did write a story about the disparity in which missing black women versus missing white women are handled by media. That was the first bite that I got.
Why did it matter that she didn't make front page news?
That's the gold standard. A national conversation about a missing person is the difference between sometime not only being found, but never being forgotten.
It's just hard and very devastating for me. Everything I'm hearing, it's not good. So, of course, it's killing me.
She's not out there. If something has happened to my daughter, I just want to put her to rest.
While Tamika's parents are grieving, Christopher Hampton, in custody for violating his parole for that bank robbery, is busy making calls from jail.
Hello, this is a collect call from?
Like this one to an ex-girlfriend.
But it was a piece of paper in there, and they had one of your yellow notebook things. Mm-hmm. And they had fingerprints and blood on it.
I don't know what it was. She contacted us and said she had some belongings of Hampton's.
Christopher Hampton's ex-girlfriend turned in his wallet.
Lieutenant Lamb was going through it and found a drop of blood on a photograph in the wallet.
There was some smudge marks that looked like blood and a partial print. We do the testing on it as Tamika's blood.
At this point, that was enough to convince the solicitor's office to go ahead and let us charge him.
You have her blood in his wallet. You have her blood on the floor of an apartment that he used to live in. It's no longer a question of who did it. It is now a question of what happened.
There was still the outstanding question of, well, then where was Tamika? What happened to her? And only Chris Hampton had those answers.
It's been 15 months since Tamika Houston's disappearance. Now, armed with hard evidence, Solicitor Trey Gowdy is ready to have police arrest Christopher Hampton for Tamika's murder.
I remember talking to them about you need to be there when he's released. When they picked him up, what you really want is you want answers for the family. Where's the body?
He was scheduled to be released on his parole violation, and they assured me, listen, we're going to be there to pick him up, and we're bringing him to question him.
You're about to see potentially a resolution here. Somebody's about to be arrested.
It's really a tough situation to be in because you just like, until you know, there is kind of maybe that small sliver of hope that one day she'll just walk through that door.
Because there's no body at this point.
Yeah, exactly. So it's tough. It's you want to know, but then you don't want to know.
We made arrangements the morning that his release that we would be there, and over the course of our ride back, he was nervous that we were going to put him in front of cameras. So we went to another location. We got cheeseburgers from a local restaurant, and I made sure that we asked for a ketchup bottle, not the little packs, we want a bottle. We were sitting there talking, and the ketchup bottle's on the corner of the table, and I said, don't knock that off in the floor. And he kind of laughed about it, or snickered about it. And I think that was kind of the turning point for him. He stood up, and he said, let's go. And I said, where do you want to go? And originally I thought he meant to jail, but he said, I'll take you to where she's at.
My God, Tamika, is this where fate, faith, and fortune unfortunately meet? Have we finally found you?
How did you handle that news that he was going to lead police to her body?
Major Lamb, I remember him calling me and saying that he finally said that he was going to lead them to Tamika. I said, okay, I'm on the next flight there.
When I got the phone call, I think I just lost it. Yeah, it was tough.
It was just me and my dad when we found out. And I just remember him like screaming to the top of his lungs. And then that's when I knew like my sister was never coming back.
We get in our vehicles and he drives us across town, up the interstate into another small town outside of our jurisdiction.
Miss Houston was found in a wooded area, good bit of brush and undergrowth in the area, but some clearings as well.
We get out of the vehicle, we walk probably 100 yards into the woods, and he points out where it is.
Like the X, right?
Mm-hmm.
It turns out Hampton had made a cross with tree branches and laid them on top of the makeshift grave where he'd buried Tamika.
As if I'm gonna fashion a cross and put it there, somehow gonna mitigate what he's done.
Miss Houston was buried in a shallow grave, and some of the remains of Mrs. Houston had been scattered about the area.
Right here. There were a couple bones on the surface that they saw at that time, and it was in Spartanburg County.
Multiple law enforcement agencies were at the scene.
When I arrived that night, they're still processing that scene and trying to collect her remains. It was gut-wrenching at that point. You just know, you felt so remote and you felt like, it was like she's been out here alone for all this time. You feel really helpless.
I open my arms for your embrace, but all I feel is empty space.
I remember walking down into deep woods, and I mean, by this time we're surrounded by trees.
So come back to me, come back to me.
Watching the pain on my sister's face, it felt like she was in physical pain. It was really just difficult to see her going through that.
And I'm standing there and my eyes are full of tears. And I remember looking down because I felt like I was stepping on something. And I reached down and picked it up. And it was actually one of her bones.
The family came and found a couple bones that had not been picked up. And so for me, that was a really sad situation. So I told them I'd just do it myself.
That part of it. Excuse me. It was supposed to be, cleared first before we got there.
And yet, through it all, something extraordinary starts to happen. The family begins their long goodbye, and quite naturally, in this unholy yet sacred setting, an impromptu ceremony develops at the site.
The family had put up a little cross and flowers there at the gravesite.
You had hoped it would be a different outcome. You do have an answer now, but it's certainly not the answer you wanted.
It wasn't the answer we wanted. It's such a loss. Like, I miss her so much.
But how did Tamika end up dead, and why? Christopher Hampton, back in an interview room, is ready to confess.
You have to balance that, man.
This makeshift gravesite deep in this wooded area near Tiger River is where Spartanburg investigators say Christopher Hampton led them.
Deep into the brush, investigators say Hampton showed them where he dumped Tamika's body.
Just recently identified after a long, grueling investigation.
After Christopher Hampton leads authorities to Tamika's remains, he then sits down to tell investigators what he says happened the day Tamika died.
We returned back to the police department to interview him in reference to the case.
He tells a story of an argument over money, and he's ironing clothes for work.
Kind of tell him what happened. She wanted to borrow the money, so I said, I ain't got it right now. I said, I got a ticket coming up, I got to pay. I said, and plus, my baby, she gonna be born, I got to buy some stuff for her. Okay. Tell him what happened. And she got mad. She said, well, God, she said, you always talk about that baby. You making the money, you give me some money now. She yap, 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 yap. She stood up and, I'm saying, she went to argue, she was like, yap, 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 yap. So I just... What happened? I just trying to turn down.
They have a little disagreement, and he turns around and hits her with the iron.
It happened so bad, I snapped, man.
Turn all the way around and show me, so I understand which side we think.
It had probably.
On this side.
Right, that's all we had.
Based on the crime scene, detectives aren't sure about Hampton's story.
I think there was considerably more damage than what probably would have been caused by just getting hit in the head with an iron.
Did you go check her, or did you just...
I panicked, man. I got up out of there.
You panicked and left.
I got up out of there.
When you heard about Chris's confession, when you heard him say that he killed her,
I was really angry. It seemed so violent and so senseless.
He said it hit her, and he didn't know what to do, and then left and came back.
He felt like, she'd be up and gone when she wasn't. So he panicked and wrapped her up in a comforter off the bed and put her in the closet.
He had such little regard for her life that he dragged her in the closet and moved a dresser in front of the closet. It was almost like he wanted it out of sight, out of mind. It didn't happen.
Yeah, I'm scared. So I put in the closet and stuff. Put the thing over the thing, the dress over the door.
Hampton tells them he places a dresser in front of the closet door, just as the 15-year-old witness had described to police.
You're dealing with the psychology of someone who could take a life and then be with this underage girl, and this body is in the closet the entire time.
He said he wrapped the body up in his bedding and carried her out to the car.
He goes to Walmart and buys a shovel. The sun's coming up, and he decides to drive down this dirt road, take her in the woods, and he digs a grave.
Okay, what do you do next?
I buried her. He put the dirt back on top of her.
Put her out in the woods, buried her in the woods.
Horrific.
Did you put anything else on top of it?
Made a cross with it, like with the tree, like a cross.
Was you doing that just as like a burial for her or something, or why'd you do that? I mean, that's...
I guess because I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it.
He is confessing to a homicide, and his intent is to make the event sound as unintentional as possible. And we didn't believe that to be true because he'd gone to great effort to dispose of Miss Houston's body.
Months later, he returns to that gravesite, removes some bones, as well as Tamika's skull, and takes that and disposes of it at another location.
This is a diagram that I made after we had finished processing the scene. And this shape in the middle is the burial site. One of the most interesting things on this, to me, is this is a fence. And you have this creek right here. What I think actually happened was because her jawbone was the only bone that was found on the other side of this fence, I think he likely took the skull, like he said. She couldn't be identified, or to cover up some kind of horrific damage to it, and threw it in this creek.
I just kind of thought that you have You had to be a monster to do something like that to someone after a period of time.
Tamika's life reduced to a pile of bones, picked, plucked, and spread apart by animals, weather, and worry. Gone, missing, now found.
Christopher Hampton placing Tamika's body in the woods. The vision Elaine Painter says she had, spot on.
That was who I saw looking through these bushes.
And it seems Tamika had one more message to share via Elaine.
When I was very, very early in my pregnancy, and literally the only people who knew that I was pregnant with twins was me, my doctor, and my husband. Elaine called me, and I had a couple of miscarriages previously, and she's like, oh, Rebecca, and I could tell she was struggling a bit. She says, yeah, I'm seeing Tamika, and I keep seeing her, and she's holding these 2 blue bundles, and I'm like, really?
I said, I don't have any idea what this means. I did not know that she was pregnant with twins. Maybe God was saying that it's going to be okay, that you're going to get to keep these.
I was just blown away because, I mean, again, and I knew what the sex would be of my twins.
Twin boys?
Yeah, twin boys. And two blue bundles. And to this day, I always feel like Tamika, she's watching them, and she's around.
With the sound of the song, Some Way, Somehow, a memorial service for Tamika is held in South Carolina.
These people gathered here at Foster Chapel Baptist Church in her honor.
Tamika Houston is later buried in Fairfax, Virginia, just a few miles from her mother's home.
I was so confused on why she had a closed casket. I was really confused. I'm like, I want to see my sister. And that's when my mom, she kind of explained it to me, it's not much in the casket.
Christopher Hampton is finally headed to trial, but there's a turn of events in the courtroom.
I was shocked.
And on the 20th anniversary of Tamika's death, her Aunt Rebecca gets a welcome surprise. Nearly 2 years after Tamika Houston went missing, her former love interest, Christopher Hampton, is heading to trial.
It felt like it was going to be, a really tough couple of weeks in Spartanburg. But on the first day of trial, he ends up pleading guilty. I was shocked.
Are you guilty of the crime of murder? Yes, sir.
I don't know why he pled guilty. He wound up getting the exact same sentence that he would have gotten had he gone to trial and lost.
Mr. Hampton, the sentence of the court is that you be committed to the State Department of Corrections for life.
I was really emotional that day, and he really didn't show any remorse.
Life without parole.
If anyone deserved life, it had to be Christopher Hampton.
To this day, those who knew and loved Tamika still wonder about the motive for her murder. Hampton says she was upset that he was saving money for his unborn child.
She wasn't like that. She wasn't, those are your children. No, those are our children. That's how she was. That's why his story doesn't make any sense.
My sister she cared a lot. I couldn't imagine her saying that at all.
I don't know if I'll ever get the true story of what happened. So I'm trying to learn to just come to just be at peace with it.
Her family was just beginning to accept a dark new reality. Life without Tamika.
You said that this case touched you like no other had. Why?
Because I know how much Black girls don't matter. And I want to always be a reflection of how much value that they had to me.
What do you most want people to know about this woman that you loved?
With her death, I've met so many women, I've met so many fathers, I've met so many sisters, brothers. They still haven't found their loved ones. So I know she's putting me on a higher mission.
The lack of media coverage about Tamika's case led to the creation of the Black and Missing Foundation.
You advocate with the Black and Missing Foundation. Is it still a struggle to get the stories of women of color noticed?
It can be, but I think there is more of an awareness of it.
Is that Tamika's legacy?
I do believe that. I do.
On the 20th anniversary of Tamika's disappearance, we brought her best friend Zelda and her Aunt Rebecca together. They hadn't seen each other for years.
Zelda! Don't do that.
I'll try not to.
Honey, don't cry. I love you so much. Don't cry. It's so good to see you. You are the best friend ever.
I know.
You know that?
And she sung at the wedding. Oh, so beautiful.
I miss her.
I know.
He's a high, he's on, and I know he watches me.
It just makes me think about what my sister could have been. And it was just so unfair that her life got snatched from her.
He watches me.
What a deeply moving report tonight, Deborah. A quick note here. 2020 did reach out to Christopher Hampton for comment. He did not respond.
So far, David, his appeals have been denied. For more on this case, you can listen to Erica Alexander's Audible original series, Finding Tamika. It's available now. That's our program for tonight. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Deborah Roberts.
And I'm David Muir. From all of us here at 2020 and ABC News, good night.
Xin chào tất cả các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đang quay trở lại với kênh YouTube của mình. Trong video ngày hôm nay thì mình sẽ review cho các bạn một câu chuyện được nằm trong cuốn sách Hạt giống tâm hồn mang tựa đề Điều kỳ diệu tình yêu. Và ngày hôm nay thì câu chuyện mình muốn review cho các bạn sẽ nằm trong trang 35-36, một câu chuyện khá là ngắn thôi. Nó được mang tên Định mệnh, được gửi tới từ tác giả Khang Nhung. Và bây giờ chúng mình hãy cùng đến với nội dung của câu chuyện ngày hôm nay nhé. Nếu như mà các bạn yêu thích những cái câu chuyện có trên kênh của mình thì có thể dành tặng cho mình một nút like, một nút share và nút đăng ký kênh review về những cuốn sách. Bây giờ chúng mình hãy cùng đến với câu chuyện Anh và Em. Chúng ta gặp nhau như một điều gì đó thật đặc biệt, bởi cả hai đều trải qua những khổ đau, mất mát và bất hạnh trong tình yêu. Những mảnh vụn còn lại của một tình yêu tan vỡ khiến cả anh và em đều thấy tình yêu sao thật mong manh, dễ tan biến vào hư không và chẳng dễ dàng tìm lại được. Nhưng thật lạ, chúng ta lại đến với nhau, tình cờ và như một định mệnh. Và một điều kỳ diệu đã kết nối hai tâm hồn. Có lẽ đây là một cơ hội và cũng là một điều may mắn. Em vẫn nhớ lần đầu tiên chúng ta tranh luận, hay nói đúng hơn là một cuộc tranh cãi, và chúng ta vô tình làm tổn thương nhau để rồi cùng nói lời xin lỗi. Chúng ta xin lỗi vì đã có một sự bất đồng nhỏ nhặt để khiến cả hai phải giận hờn vô lý. Và từ đó em chợt nhận ra mối quan hệ của chúng ta đã dần đi theo một con đường mới, một con đường chỉ có anh và em. Em đã hạnh phúc biết bao khi nhận ra điều đó, và trong em một niềm tin lại bắt đầu hình thành. Những mâu thuẫn, sóng gió của cuộc sống giúp chúng ta biết đón nhận những cơ hội đến với mình và biết cách gìn giữ chúng hơn bao giờ hết. Những cơ hội đó giúp mình hiểu nhau nhiều hơn, phải không anh? Nhìn mắt anh, em biết anh yêu em nhiều lần và em hạnh phúc khi biết điều đó. Em cũng thế, không thể nói hết những điều em dành cho anh. Đó không chỉ là một cuộc sống của em mà còn có cả suy nghĩ và tâm hồn của em. Cảm xúc luôn là điều khó thể hiện, nhưng mỗi ngày em đều cố gắng để những giây phút còn được ở bên nhau là vĩnh cửu với thời gian. Kể từ giây phút đó, em biết rằng em đã tìm được một người cùng chia sẻ những niềm vui trong cuộc sống, những ngày sóng gió cũng như lúc êm đềm. Và bởi vì định mệnh đã trao anh cho em, vì tình yêu mà chúng ta đã lựa chọn. Cả anh và em sẽ cùng nhau đi hết quãng đường còn lại của cuộc sống với nhau. Đó. Và chúng ta có thể thấy là mở đầu câu chuyện thì tác giả đã nêu ra một câu nói rất là hay, đó là gì ạ? Yêu là tìm được chính mình qua người khác. Đó. Yêu là tìm được chính mình qua người khác. Đó. Các bạn có thể nhìn thấy bản thân mình qua tấm gương phản chiếu của người khác, và các bạn có thể thấy là các bạn có thể nhìn thấy mình qua hình ảnh của người mình yêu thương. Vậy thì trong cái câu chuyện này thì đó là một cái lời tâm sự. Trong câu chuyện này chính là một lời tâm sự của một người con gái đã như một lời tự bạch, một cái nhật ký, đó, những cái lời tâm sự của một người con gái đã nói về cái tình yêu của mình. Đó. Khi mà hai người đến với nhau, hai người yêu với nhau ấy, thì thường các bạn sẽ có thể thấy là sẽ có những cái trận cãi vã, hoặc là có những cái vấn đề, có những cái câu chuyện mà có thể hai người sẽ bắt đầu ngăn điểm với nhau. Thế nhưng mà nếu mà những người mà họ yêu nhau thật sự thì chắc chắn rằng họ sẽ tìm được một cái cách giải quyết, một cái hướng giải quyết rất là dễ dàng, và có thể là trong những cái cuộc tranh luận, những cái cuộc cãi vã đó thậm chí có thể làm tổn thương nhau. Nếu như mà tình yêu không đủ lớn thì chắc chắn rằng tình yêu của họ sẽ bị tan vỡ. Thế nhưng qua những cái trận cãi vã đó, qua những cái lần tranh cãi đó, qua những cái lần làm tổn thương nhau đó, nếu như mà đối phương dành tình cảm cho nhau thật sự thì tình cảm đó sẽ được gắn kết hơn rất là nhiều. Và có thể là những cái sự giận hờn đó sẽ làm cho cả hai người cảm thấy sẽ yêu thương nhau nhiều hơn sau những cái trận đó. Và sau những cái sóng gió, sau những cái mâu thuẫn đó, thì nếu như mà hai người dành tình cảm cho nhau thật sự thì thật sự là cái mà họ nhận về sẽ là gì ạ? Sẽ là những niềm tin, và sẽ là những cái tình cảm, những hạnh phúc, và thậm chí nó là những cái sự sẻ chia về những nỗi buồn vui, những nỗi buồn, và họ có thể trải qua những cái thăng trầm trong tình yêu, thì cái kết quả sau này họ mới thu được về, đó là những cái tình yêu vĩnh cửu đó, và một cái tình yêu keo sơn bền chặt đó. Phải trải qua những cái dốc tố, phải trải qua những cái đắng cay, rồi trải qua những mâu thuẫn, trải qua những giận hờn cãi vã, thì cái tình yêu của chúng ta mới có thể trở nên bền chặt được. Bởi vì sao ạ? Bởi vì sau những cái lần cãi vã đó thì chúng mình mới có thể hiểu nhau nhiều hơn, rồi hiểu đối phương nhiều hơn. Chúng ta có thể trải lòng với nhau nhiều hơn, tâm sự và nói rõ với đối phương những cái gì mà chúng ta nghĩ, những gì mà chúng ta còn băn khoăn trắc trở đó, và chúng ta sẽ giải quyết hết thì chúng ta mới có thể hiểu đối phương nhiều hơn. Chứ cứ âm thầm lặng lẽ làm tổn thương nhau, rồi cứ âm thầm lặng lẽ rời bỏ nhau, thì đó không phải là tình yêu các bạn ạ. Đó, trải qua những thăng trầm, trải qua những giông tố, rồi trải qua những trận cãi vã, rồi thậm chí trải qua những cái ngày lặng lẽ im lặng, rồi nếu như mà chúng ta dành tình cảm cho đối phương thực sự thì chúng ta mới lại tìm đến nhau và quay về với nhau. Đó, thì trong câu chuyện này tác giả đã nêu ra một cái câu chuyện rất là hay được gửi tới một người con gái, và câu chuyện được mang tên Định Mệnh. Câu chuyện này thì mình đánh giá là một câu chuyện cũng khá là hay, về nội dung thì cũng khá là ngắn thôi, và các bạn có thể dành thời gian đọc rất là nhanh. Mình chỉ cần mất thời gian 2 đến 3 phút là chúng mình có thể đọc xong một cái câu chuyện này rồi, và các bạn có thể hoàn toàn là đọc nhanh cái câu chuyện này. Và nếu như bạn không có thời gian đọc thì các bạn có thể lắng nghe phần review trên kênh của mình các bạn nhé. Và cảm ơn các bạn đã lắng nghe phần review có trên kênh của mình. Và nếu các bạn cảm thấy yêu thích những cái nội dung có trên kênh của mình thì có thể dành tặng mình một nút like, một nút share, một nút đăng ký kênh review về những cuốn sách. Cảm ơn các bạn thật nhiều, và chúc các bạn có những giây phút xem video vui mỗi ngày.